And welcome to the AM show here on the Joy News channel. We are grateful that you could find time, to let us be part of your morning. It looks like it will be raining today. It's a cloudy morning. We'll be telling you how the weather will be today, so stay with us as we give you that brief. But this morning on the show, Parliament has passed the Community Service Bill, such that today when you are sentenced for a crime, depending on the crime, you may not spend time in prison, but you'll be doing community service to atone for that particular punishment. What does this exactly mean for Ghanaians? We'll examine that. Again, we'll examine the objectives of the legislation, the concerns being raised, and whether it delivers on its promise. We will also discuss the minorities' demand for the removal of Finance Minister Dr. Kisel. Okay, so I think their call is for the removal of the Attorney General over the use of the contingency fund. They say that the Attorney General was aware of a court order barring the use of the contingency fund, but they have gone into it. Government is also saying, well, it is not the contingency fund, but rather the contingency vote that was contained in the budget. So what actually is it? Now, is the criticism justified, or is it simply politics at play? We'll get into it. And questions are being asked over government's decision to prioritize 35 Agenda 111 project without clear timelines for the rest, including the Wager Children's Hospital. So what does this mean for healthcare infrastructure and communities still waiting for these facilities? Well, we'll also look at the Attorney General's move to challenge the High Court ruling in the Hanan Abdul Wahab case, and the Chamber of Mines warning that Ghana could lose billions of dollars in mining investment if concerns within the sector are not addressed. I mean, yesterday I was at an event where the natural resources was the focus, and there is money, billions of dollars in that sector. But really, are we getting it right? Joining us for discussion this morning, Kofi-Addo, spokesperson, on employment and jobs for the MPP, Solomon Owusu, Director of Communications for the United Party, and Hamza Sowoyini is a lawyer and member of the NDC's communications team. But before that, we have some news updates for you with Denisia Oma Ejay. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace, and as always, I do this with Emefa Akosua Adeti. On behalf of our hardworking team, we say thank you for allowing us into your spaces. Good morning, and stay with us.
Hello, welcome aboard. This is AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaije. Our very first story. Despite gains under the government's flagship education reform program, 953 low-performing basic schools still face severe shortages of furniture, libraries, and ICT laboratories, according to the latest school inspections. The findings from the National Schools Inspectorate Authority suggest that inadequate infrastructure continues to threaten learning outcomes, even as the World Bank-supported Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes Project Gallup records progress in teaching and learning. Here's more.
The inspections found that while Gallup is helping improve classroom teaching and school management, many schools continue to struggle with poor learning environments. The assessment is part of a nationwide inspection exercise involving more than 4,000 schools between 2021 and 2025. From that process, 250 schools were shortlisted, with only 20 making the final list for national recognition. stagnation. Officials say the inspections are designed not only to assess performance but also to identify gaps and shape interventions to improve standards across Ghana's basic schools. The Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, says the findings underscore the need to address infrastructure deficits, particularly in rural communities, to sustain improvements in learning outcomes.
Recommendations emerging from this report will not remain as a technical observation on paper. They will serve as an important input into policy development, program design, resource allocation, and school improvement efforts at every level of Ghana's education system. As we look ahead, our task is clear. We must build on the gains achieved through Gallup. We must strengthen foundational learning. We must continue supporting teachers and school leaders. We must improve accountability systems. And we must ensure that every Ghanaian child, regardless of circumstance, can learn, succeed, and realize his or her full potential.
Inspector General of Schools Professor Tahiru Salifo Aziko says the continual shortage of basic facilities, especially furniture, remains a major challenge, adding that quality education depends on creating the right learning environment.
With our furniture, how can learners have quality education? So we think that these findings will want the government and donors partners to support, see how best we can get infrastructure, get furniture for these schools. I think ICT lab and also library are also other important things that we think the schools would need. But overall, I think this is a very good thing because GES are the manager of the institution, especially for the public schools, and we think giving them this recommendation findings will also let them know what's happening in their schools, and then we'll see how best we can work collaboratively together and see how best we can bring the standard of the schools into a reasonable place, such a way that quality can be improved.
Education authorities say future inspections will cover all levels of education with greater attention on infrastructure, teaching resources, and school discipline as part of efforts to improve standards nationwide. For Joy News, Martha Sewabwacha's report, read to you.
The Interior Ministry is pushing for a shift in how Ghana responds to drug use, especially for people caught in minor drug offences. The ministry says they need help, treatment and support, not only punishment. Speaking at a conference in Accra, Deputy Interior Minister Ebenezer Oklete-Telabi said drug use must be treated as a public health and human rights issue alongside law enforcement. Nancy Kumsin reports.
Speaking on behalf of the Interior Minister at a national dialogue on drug policy, human rights and public health in Ghana, Deputy Interior Minister Ebenezer Oklete-Telabi says individuals involved in minor drug-related offences require rehabilitation rather than imprisonment.
The substance use is not only a criminal justice issue, but also a matter of public health, dignity and human rights. That was a bold decision. It aligned us with global best practice. It reflected the growing body of evidence that punitive only approaches do not solve the problem. However, today we must confront an uncomfortable truth. The full promise of that reform has not yet been realized. Across our institutions, we still see inconsistencies in how law is applied. We still see individuals entering criminal justice system for minor drug-related offenses where alternatives should exist. And we still see a gap between what our policies say and what happens in practice.
The Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission, Brigadier General Maxwell Mante, also called for increased support and collaboration in addressing drug abuse, especially among young people.
We cannot do it alone as a Narcotics Control Commission. We need your support, we need your guidance, we need everything that you can offer to us. to address the challenge, because like I always say, if we don't, a day will come, a time will come where we cannot find people like you seated here to discuss issues about national development. Any opportunity you get, whether you are a media man, whether you are a teacher, whether you belong to the civil society, talk to somebody about drugs. Take it as a personal project and talk about drugs. Because the rate at which it's working on our kids in secondary schools is very serious. I heard yesterday that a 5-year-old was introduced to drugs. I mean, how can this be? How can we sit here and allow this to happen?
The Ministry of the Interior says integrating a people-centered policy into standard operating procedures will help ensure a more effective and sustainable approach to addressing drug use in the long term. Nancy Kumsins reports for Joy News.
Now, Ghana's efforts to promote inclusion for persons with disabilities are receiving a boost through a new international partnership led by the University of Cape Coast. The initiative aims to strengthen disability advocacy, build the capacity of professionals, and support the effective implementation of Ghana's disability laws through collaboration with the University of Vermont in the United States and EEPD Africa.
Leading the delegation from the Enlightening and Empowering Persons with Disabilities in Africa and the University of Vermont, Project Director for EEPD Africa, Dr. Ruben Seyram-Adekplovi, said the collaboration seeks to raise public awareness on disability issues and promote advocacy for persons with disabilities.
EEPD stands for Enlightening and Empowering People with Disabilities in Africa. So basically what we do is that we one partner with institutions, and this is one of the things that we do, and that's why we are with UTC today. The CEO is Dr. Sefako, and she happened to be an alumni of UCC. So she, in the year 2022, contacted them, and then they ended up developing this international disability course, which we came here to see the center and also to see how far they are going. Yeah. So the expectation is that the general public will get more aware about disability issues and how to advocate for them, and also to change the narrative so that the people with disabilities can also feel belonged and comfortable wherever they come, wherever they go.
The coordinator of the Center for Disability Studies at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Gideon Kwesi-Obosu, expressed concern over the weak implementation of disability policies in Ghana, stressing that the International Certificate in Disability Studies is equipping students with the knowledge and skills to champion disability inclusion.
When it comes to the issue of disability, we are still advancing as a country and even as a university. And so, in collaboration with our partners, we have established the International Certificate in Disability Studies. And so we would want to see how our conceptualization of disability can align with the global thought and to also support persons with disabilities.
He further called on government to accelerate the implementation of disability laws, improve access to support services, and strengthen efforts to build a more inclusive society.
To create more access to persons with disabilities, largely realize that we do want to support persons with disabilities, but then the access to the support are not even available. And so many persons with disabilities will still have to grapple with getting basic access to what is common to humans. So we are asking government to continue to support us. For example, our program that we run here in University of Cape Coast, we want to have the support from government as well, so that many people would join, have the awareness and be part of the advocacy program that we intend to achieve.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lesalin-Kroma reports for Joy News.
Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has received a major boost in its efforts to support thousands of victims who are still struggling to rebuild their lives. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has donated thousands of relief items to help families affected by the June 29 floods. The following report has more.
Floods came without warning. Within hours, houses were submerged, shops were destroyed, mattresses, food, and years of hard work were swept away by the rushing waters. More than a week later, many families are still sleeping in difficult conditions and struggling to get back on their feet. With thousands still in need, the National Disaster Management Organization appealed for support from individuals and organizations. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has now answered that call. Presenting the donation, General Authority 70 of the church, Adeyinka Ojidiran, said, supporting people in difficult times is part of the church mission of service and compassion.
As a church, this is a commitment on our part to follow Jesus Christ's teachings, and that we should love our neighbors and we should be there for one another. So this is a way to practice our religion, and we cannot see people in need and not be there to support.
The church donated 5,000 student mattresses, 2,000 bags of 25-kilogram rice, and other relief items. The supplies are expected to provide comfort and relief to thousands of families still recovering from the floods. Receiving the items, NADMO Director General Dr. Joseph Bikani Koyon described the donation as timely.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are regular donors to NADMO. And so we are grateful that in situations like this, we don't see ourselves standing alone, but we see our friends, we see people from all walks of life coming to give support, to bring relief to the suffering people who lost lives and properties. Our only message to you is that we have found a friend in your church, and we believe that you will be friends forever.
NADMO says while the donation will ease the burden on many affected families, thousands more still need food, bedding, and other basic necessities as recovery efforts continue. For Joy News, Mavis Kapuko's report read to you.
It's time for some business updates. The Ahanta Pele, Samuel Kojo Breeze will bring us that right after this breather.
Let's do some business now, and the Ghana cedi recorded a mixed performance in the retail and interbank markets over the two-week review period. We've captured more in this report.
In the interbank market, the cedi weakened against the major currencies, with the US dollar Ghana cedi mid-rate rising 1.53% to 11 cedis 39 pesos from 11 cedis 22 pesos. The cedi also depreciated to the pound and euro by 2.53% and 1.31% to 15 cedis 21 pesos and 13 cedis and 3 pesos respectively. In contrast, the retail market remained relatively resilient, with the cedi appreciating 0.42% against the dollar to 12 cedis, while gaining 2.24% and 2.58% against the pound and euro to 15 cedis 65 pesos and 13 cedis 55 pesos respectively. Despite earlier strong central bank support, the cedi did not break through 11 cedis US dollar mark, slightly overshooting data bank researchers 10 cedis 9 pesos forecast and suggesting a soft floor that reflects the balance between stability and export competitiveness. As intervention eased against steady demand, the currency drifted back toward the 11 cedis 39 pesos against the US dollar area. Meanwhile, the cedi began the week going for 12 cedis 10 pesos against the dollar. It has since 1st January 2026 appreciated by 1.46% against the dollar in the retail market.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has warned it will apply appropriate sanctions to any financial institution found culpable in fraudulent activities as part of a renewed push to sanitize the financial sector. This caution comes on the back of rising customer complaints about digital fraud and card-related disputes highlighted in its 2025 annual report. Speaking to Joy Business on the matter, Head of Fraud Investigations and Reporting Unit at the Bank of Ghana, Eric Bodzie Kabeyo, said the regulator is intensifying supervision of cybersecurity frameworks, fraud detection systems, and dispute resolution timelines across all licensed institutions.
What we do is periodic investigations. And once we do these investigations and we find any bank to be culpable of weak internal controls, we recommend the appropriate sanctions to be meted out to these institutions.
But have you done that in any way?
Yes, we've done that over the period. But we are quick to say that our financial institutions are still safe. We will encourage our customers to continue to do business with our institutions. As you can see from the data, the banks have really done very well. They have managed to reduce the numbers from the previous year, that's 2024. We see a decrease of about 48% in the count of fraud, and we see a decrease of 2% in the value at risk. Yes, more can be done. So we'll continue to engage our institutions, and we'll continue to enhance our supervisory activities so that the right thing is done to curb fraud in the future.
Let's wrap the business update with what's trending on the commodities market. And that's it for business update. Back to you, Denesia.
Thank you, Antapeli Samuel-Kojo for bringing us business. I like your smoke.
Thank you for having me.
You should get one for me.
And it's from Tamale. I have a friend in Tamale. He does some very nice smoke. So I'll tell him to get you one. Yeah.
Please tell him to get one.
I'm sure he's watching us, so he would even...
Wonderful. If you are watching us and you did Brace's smoke, please do one for me. Except that mine will be a straight dress. That's it for AM News, but don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Shield Silicone Paints from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and also Time Herbal Mixture. Now the World Cup fever is on, guys, and everyone is getting excited. Compu Ghana says the match shouldn't just be on the pitch. You can actually bring the stadium experience home. So this is the time to buy your crystal clear TVs, soundbars, home theaters, smartphones, laptops, projectors, and more at unbeatable prices. Remember, this isn't just discount sale. It's a chance to win a 100-inch 4K smart TV, some cash, laptops, phones, and many other amazing prizes when you shop 1,000 Ghana cedis or more. When you spend 1,000 Ghana cedis or more. So rush to any Compu Ghana showroom or just shop online at compugana.com. Call us 030-275-2020 or WhatsApp on 024-314-3143. Compu Ghana Gold Rush Season, the ultimate football experience. Now, football's biggest tournament is on. I'm talking about the World Cup. And there's no better way to back your team on Betano. Sign up today on Betano and claim a welcome bonus of up to 2,000 Ghana cedis on your first deposit to enjoy the World Cup. Simply create your Betano account, verify your details, make your first deposit, and make we bet. 18 plus only, terms and conditions apply. So gamble responsibly. This has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Now let me tell you about Nestus Homes, because you can own your dream property in one of Teme's fastest growing prime locations today. Yeah, at Nestus Homes, we offer beautifully designed Studio 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom luxury homes crafted for modern living, comfort, and long-term value. Strategically located at Tema Community 26, just behind the Palace Mall, our gated community gives you a serene and secure environment, easy access to major roads and key business areas, close proximity to schools, hospitals, malls, and essential social amenities. So reserve your unit today with just 10% deposit and enjoy flexible payment plans and mortgage options. So you can call us now on 053-101-4440 or 053-101-4447 to book a viewing, or visit us at www.nestes.com.gh. Well, that's it for the AM News. For more news, I know a place. Of course, I highly recommend you log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denicia Pomaije. Up next is sports. A while later, we'll have a news review. Have a lovely Thursday.
Imagine a family without a home. Imagine a song without a voice. Imagine a church without prayers. Imagine a government without citizens. Imagine democracy without journalists. Imagine a world without the media. Life is full of issues and stories about people, communities, and governments. Stories that have to be told by well-trained journalists. That's why you can't imagine news without Joy News. Not corruption. Vote buying silences the will of the people, and check illicit political financing weakens the very sovereignty of a state. Democracy falters when everyone's choice is compromised. An unprecedented multimedia politician-citizen forum brought to you by Joy News Impact Makers Foundation. This community-level engagement will spotlight illicit political financing, explore its implications, and proffer solutions to safeguarding Ghana's democracy. Democracy is not for sale on Joy News, Adom TV, Joy FM, Adom FM, and across our social media platforms.
Everything has meaning. But not everything is as it seems. For every story told, there are versions of the truth.
We can't afford to look at this, the numbers that have been presented, and say, we are tired, it's the same old issue. No, somebody should be prosecuted.
Every opinion can be debated. Every claim can be challenged. Even the idea of the national interest can and must be interrogated.
This is the date it was. This was the date it was printed from the system. That is what what is he talking about?
Because sometimes the real facts are buried deep within layers of interpretation. So we ask the harder questions. We test every claim. We raise the standard of public discourse and place every issue on the altar of unbiased scrutiny. This is Newsfile, your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first.
We stand beneath you. What are you doing? Clearly.
Newsfile with Samson Ladi Anyanini. On Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible.
Time for sports on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, calls have intensified in recent days for the resignation of Ghana Football Association President Keto Kreku following Ghana's exit at the round of 32 of the FIFA World Cup following the defeat to Colombia. Outgoing Black Stars head coach Carlos Queiroz, in a farewell message posted on social media, called for long-term structural improvement to improve Ghana's football development system. The Black Stars have won only 2 matches across their last 4 major competitions and also failed to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, the Director General of the National Sports Authority, Yao Ampofo-Ankra, admits something is clearly wrong.
The Kreku issue is beyond one person. I don't think one person would be able to control football the way people think Keto Kreku is controlling football. He has a backup system, and he has a base, and he has supporters, and he has a football people who are actually allowing him to do whether right or wrong. So we need to also check that football
the structure people around him.
That's right. For some reason, they think Kurt is doing a great job. I spoke to him this afternoon. I said, Charlie, we need to talk. You know, people are not happy.
Yeah.
He's doing business. He's still in the US, obviously because of FIFA programs and meetings that he has to have. But clearly, people are not happy, and we need to take a decision.
I agree about the structures around him, but I mean, I honestly say
they vote.
If fish is going to rot, it starts from the head.
Yeah,
and he is
football,
the head.
Yeah, the football people are the ones who would vote him out or say that we want him. And from what I'm gathering, they're happy with Kurt.
So the football people is that they don't see, they don't think they are the problem.
I think what it is entitlement. There's this perception, or they believe that, look, we are football people, we invest, they are our clubs, our players, so we should decide what happens. But what if what you're deciding is wrong and you cannot see it? So we need that bird's eye view. We need an independent body somehow to come in there and say, no, this is the limit. We need to change a lot of things about the way we run our football. Otherwise, the vicious cycle will continue. Clearly, we're not doing something right.
Meanwhile, former Black Stars striker Majid Juarez has called for a clear football direction to help revive the senior national team. Juarez believes creating a stronger pathway for players to progress from the youth teams to the Black Stars will be crucial to the team's revival.
I always say it, you know, at the beginning of everything about the preparation. If you remember our first meeting that we had here, I said it that everything starts from the details, the small things. And then the coach has just been how many months?
4 months.
And then he's just delivered a very heavy statement like this. I feel like it's not a matter of players. It's a matter of who is in charge.
That's right.
And then which I feel is very important. We can, all of us, we are Ghanaians. We cannot say we will not speak about it because we will celebrate when Ghana win AFCON. It doesn't matter who. I was in the World Cup. I was wearing my Ghana jersey. I was in the fan squad. I was cheering the Black Star up, and I was very happy and proud of it. I think this is something that brings joy to the whole country, and then I feel everyone is involved in it, and it's about time that we have a plan of what we want to achieve in the future. We need to have, as Coach have already said, we need to know what we want to achieve. We need to build something in long term. Now the coach have just come and then he disappeared. Now we have to start all afresh. Why didn't we just go for someone that we can actually start to build the team now and then proceed? So now it's like we have to start all afresh again. And then I feel like it's about time we build like a concrete foundation that we can have for a very long period of time. And then this is what everyone is doing now. You can see they are starting to build team, and then they are already having players that will step up into the next generation. So I think it's about time for Ghana. We need to look at all those kind of process and then get our transition right from the junior team into the senior team, and then let's start involving some of like the local players. Let's start involving some of like the young players, and then we are building something for the future, and then we have people that can step up if someone is not up into the. And then I think this is very important for the Ghana football, for us to start to build that foundation and then make the transition right so that things can go on smoothly.
Now, French-born defender Beres Owusu, who is of Ghanaian descent, is emerging as one of the promising talents in Europe. After an impressive season with Austrian Bundesliga side Grazer AK, the 22-year-old has reaffirmed his ambition to wear the Black Stars jersey. Joyce Sports' Joseph Inga Walter has more.
22-year-old Beres Owusu is quietly making a name for himself in the Austrian Bundesliga. Born in Paris to Ghanaian parents, the Grazer AK defender made 29 appearances and scored once last season. Named after legendary Jamaican singer Beres Hammond, owing to his father's admiration for the musician, Beres says his journey to professional football has always been anything but easy.
I grew up with Ghana education, with his values because of my parents. So wearing the Black Star jersey, it represents the whole nation. So for me, it will be a dream come true.
He started out as a sales before joining St. Etienne's Academy, where he progressed to the senior team. A loan move to Grazer AK proved pivotal, helping him establish himself as one of the club's key defenders. Last season, Beres led Grazer AK in pass accuracy, accurate long balls, while also ranking second in clearances and interceptions. He attributes his rise to consistent game and growing confidence.
Okay, it's been a positive season for my side. It's helped me for my confidence, but I still want to improve every game,
Despite being born in Paris, Beres says his dream has always been to represent Ghana, whether with the U23s or the Black Stars.
I already talked with my agent, with my cousin. We always talk about Ghana national team, I already said to them, yes, I want to represent Ghana, but, to find a solution for play for Ghana, when you don't play in a big team, it's difficult, So I already told them, I have time, I have time. If I don't go with the first team now, it's not a problem for me. I can go in at the 23, play, show my qualities, and if they like my potential and my quality, maybe they can call me in the first team,
Beres was close to joining Belgian side Anderlecht last summer, but chose to remain in Austria to continue his development. While a move to one of Europe's top leagues remains a goal, his focus is on continuing his progress with Grazer AK.
To the World Cup now, and 4 years after their unforgettable meeting in Qatar, France and Morocco renewed their rivalry with a place in the semi-finals at stake. The two sides meet in Boston later today in a repeat of the 2022 semi-final when France ended Morocco's historic run with a 2-0 victory. This time, the Atlas Lions arrive with another opportunity to break new ground, while France are aiming to continue their pursuit of a third World Cup title.
The game against France is still in our memory. We know the mistakes we made and what we could have done to get a better result. The result didn't reflect what actually happened, which means we lost due to small details. Now we have new staff and players. We're in the quarter-finals against France, who were once world champions. It's important we're all at 100% to get the result we need. We need to recover and focus on the Morocco game. We know they're a really good team, and we're looking forward to playing them. We will give it our all to keep moving forward.
Well, the match will be live on the Joy Prime channel with build-up beginning at 7 p.m. Let's do some transfer news now. Chelsea have signed teenager Giovanni Quenda from Sporting Lisbon on a contract until 2034. The deal was agreed between the clubs last year that could be worth as much as 52 million euros. Quenda remained in Lisbon last season and has now officially joined the Blues. Quenda, who was named Young Player of the Year in 2025, has made 54 appearances in all competitions for Sporting, helping them win the Portuguese League and a cup double last season. Now, Manchester United have also agreed a £50 million deal with Chelsea for their Brazilian midfielder Andre Santos. The deal has progressed quickly in the past couple of hours after United made their interest known over the weekend. United will pay an initial £48 million for Santos with an additional £2 million in what is described as an achievable add-ons. Chelsea have also negotiated a 10% sell-on clause. Santos has been cleared for a medical with fellow countryman Ederson also scheduled to have one before completing his £35 million move from Italian side Atalanta. Now, Arsenal are also ready to step up their interest in Bruno Guimaraes after the Brazil midfielder informed Newcastle that he wants to join the Premier League champions. Guimaraes, who missed a penalty in Brazil's defeat against Norway in the last 16 of the World Cup, is understood to have his heart set on a move to North London after Arsenal held talks with his representatives last month. Newcastle have yet to receive any contracts from Arsenal. However, the Ghanaians are believed to be preparing an offer of around £60 million. Having sold Anthony Gordon to Barcelona and Sandro Tonali to Spurs this summer, Newcastle are reluctant to allow their club captain to also depart. Guimaraes still has 2 years of his contract remaining with the Magpies. That's how we wrap up the sports segment here on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
Palladium Residences in Achimota isn't just an address, it's the home you truly earned. Secure your place with just a 10% deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant, curated community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym, and an on-site hotel, all at ABC Junction, minutes from Achimota Mall. Enjoy city energy while retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now to reserve your unit and benefit from limited launch incentives, including priority unit selection, executive pricing, and flexible payment options available. Don't miss the chance to pick the best homes. Book your private site visit today. Call 050-9823-424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
Through every stage of life, some things simply stay with us. The spirit of never giving up. A throwback to a bygone era when love was service. The silent statement of love. A thoughtful gesture that deepens bonds, balancing work and life. Every drop refreshes, every sip hydrates, just as it should. I am awake, one for life. Drink water, drink awake. Supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is there.
Palladium Residences in Achimota isn't just an address, it's the home you truly earned. Secure your place with just a 10% deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant, curated community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym, and an on-site hotel, all at ABC Junction, minutes from Achimota Mall. Enjoy city energy while retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now to reserve your unit and benefit from limited launch incentives, including priority unit selection, executive pricing, and flexible payment options available. Don't miss the chance to pick the best homes. Book your private site visit today. Call 050-9823-424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park. Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park. Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Missed passes, bad referee decisions. Don't let your child's grade suffer a bad match. Ensure a straight win this academic season with curriculum-aligned textbooks and interactive tools from Pegasus Publishing. From preschool to senior high school, we have the exact game plan your kids need to ace their classes. And because it's World Cup season, you get a massive 20% off every single book. Don't drop points. Call 059-50-10175 or dash to Pegasus Publishing in Accra, Newtown, right opposite the Total Energy Station. Free delivery within Accra when you call. Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures.
Through every stage of life, let's go. Some things simply stay with us. The spirit of never giving up. A throwback to a bygone era when love was service. The silent statement of love. A thoughtful gesture that deepens bonds, balancing work and life. Every drop refreshes, every sip hydrates, just as it should. I am awake, one for life. Drink water, drink awake. Supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center.
This strategy will lead. Oh no, not again.
Say, relax. The generator will come on now.
The generator is not working.
Why stress yourself when the experts are just one tap away? Introducing Left Power, the smart emergency support app from Left Signature Limited. With Left Power, certified engineers respond fast, anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stories.
Hello, sir. This is Left Signature Limited. The request has been received and our engineers are already on their way. Please relax. We've got you covered.
This is professional. Every Left expert is certified, verified, and can be tracked in real time. Oh, you'll know they're coming before they even arrive. From electrical engineering and solar power systems to data center management, cloud services, smart automation, and software development, Left Signature delivers excellence, fast, reliable, and professional. Left Power.
Your solution is just one tap away.
Available on Play Store and App Store.
I didn't think it would happen to me, but it happened to me.
Ghana's digital economy is booming. Millions of transactions, billions of cities, a future powered by technology. But beneath the convenience lies a growing threat.
Now it's becoming more towards digital fraud.
If we place convenience excessively over security, we run the risk of breaking down the number one currency that we have in that ecosystem, and that is trust.
The Digital Economy Forum is a thought leadership series examining the opportunities, risks, and choices shaping Ghana's economic future. In our maiden edition, we tackle a critical issue, the trust crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy.
We need to have a 360-degree solution.
Join Head of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana, Elhanan Orekuasare, Economics Professor Godfred Bokpin, CEO of Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewua, Executive Chairman of E-Crime Bureau, Dr. Albert Enchibuesiako, Chief Risk and Compliance Officer at Mobile Money FinTech Limited, Godwin Tamaklu, Deputy Director General in charge of Technical Operations at the Cybersecurity Authority, Stephen Kojo Seshi, and Head of Internal Affairs at Haptel, Ebenezer Before the Digital Economy Forum, the Trust Crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy. Brought to you in partnership with Haptel. It's happening on Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. live on Joy News, Joy FM, and across our social media platforms.
For the American defense to deal with, and Asamoah has scored! A wonderful volley!
The stadium is live! The fans are roaring and the excitement has officially kicked off. It's goal rush season at Compute Ghana. This World Cup season, the match isn't just on the pitch. It's happening right in your home. Build your home stadium with world-class cinematic TVs, powerful sound bars, and home theaters, high-power speakers, laptops, tablets, and projectors for the ultimate streaming. Compute Ghana is delivering unbeatable deals, not just discounts, but a chance to win 100-inch 4K smart TVs, mobile phones, laptops, and many more. Just purchase items 1,000 Ghana cedis and above, and automatically enter the raffle draw. Shop online at ComputeGhana.com. Call on 0302-752020. Go Rush season, the ultimate football experience, only at Compute Ghana.
This voice speaks a lot of volume to me personally, because I feel like my forefather or my own father was killed here, and it's like a child who didn't meet his father, but you come and you hear that this is where your father was slaughtered, you understand, or your father was killed. So anytime we come here, we feel like this is the home of our ancestors. Here was the center where the plot to capture Akufo was initiated, and here was the center where he was captured.
Did you know that some videos circulating on social media falsely claiming to be from Joy News and advertising some drugs are fakes? These fake videos advertise unapproved medicines using deep fakes of our presenters to endorse these medicines. Here's one example.
If blood pressure exceeds 120/80, internal organs are affected and a stroke occurs. A famous doctor has developed a drug that prevents high blood pressure.
You can learn to spot these fake videos. Here's how. The first sign. Notice how the lips of the anchor do not exactly match the words being spoken. Also, pay attention to the Joy News logo in the bottom left corner. With a real Joy News logo, the globe rotates. If you spot a static logo, it is an indication the video you're watching is fake. Doctored videos often have slight inconsistencies. It could be in the audio quality, visual glitches, or even lighting. Listen to this audio carefully.
Johnson Haynes will talk about a drug from the USA.
You will notice that this is computer generated and lacks the natural pauses and rhythms of a human voice. You will notice something irregular at the edge of the head and the background. It is because the image...
This voice speaks a lot of volume to me personally, because I feel like my forefather or my own father was killed here, and it's like a child who didn't meet his father, but you come and you hear that this is where your father was slaughtered, you understand, or your father was killed. So anytime we come here, we feel like this is the home of our ancestors. Here was the center where the plot to capture Akufo was initiated, and here was the center where he was captured.
Did you know that some videos circulating on social media falsely claiming to be from Joy News and advertising?
Now, since its rollout in January 2023, the Bank of Ghana has disclosed that it incurred losses of 317 million Ghana cedis in 2023 and some 1.82 billion Ghana cedis in 2024 under the Gold for Oil program. That brings the total losses to some 2.14 billion Ghana cedis in over 2 years. The central bank says that it injected 4.69 billion Ghana cedis into the program, effectively losing 45% of its working capital, or the capital actually deployed in effort to stabilize fuel prices and then also to support the city. Now let's break this down further. On March 13, 2025, the Bank of Ghana officially ended the Gold for Oil initiative, citing heavy financial losses sustained as the primary reason for shutting it down. Now, Gold for Oil was actually introduced in December of 2022 in response to surging fuel prices, with diesel retailing as high as 23 cedis per litre. And petrol, you recall, was around 17 and 18 cedis at oil stations in November of 2022. A sharp cedi depreciation and the rapid depletion of foreign reserves forced the government and the Bank of Ghana to try an alternative strategy, that is, use gold and not dollars to purchase petroleum products from the international market. The logic behind the program was very simple. Ghana needed a workaround to its dollar shortage that wouldn't further drain the bank's reserves or worsen its currency depreciation. The goal was to ease pressure on the cedi by preserving scarce foreign exchange reserves. Ghana spends about $400 million each month importing fuel or fuel products, making it the major driver of dollar demand in the country. Reducing that pressure, even partially, was central to the program's logic. The bank had already launched a domestic gold purchase program in June 2021, partnering with the then Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, now rebranded as a Gold Board, to buy gold ore from local miners in cedis and then refine it abroad for Ghana's official reserves. The aim at the time was to double Ghana's gold reserves within 5 years, then standing somewhere around 8.7 tons. Now that gold stockpile now exceeds 32 tons, nearly quadrupling in under 4 years. That's according to the central bank's own data. The domestic gold purchase program was later expanded to include the Gold for Oil framework. The Bank of Ghana, through PMMC, purchased ore in cedis from local miners and handed it over to designated gold brokers. In some cases, the brokers sold the gold internationally and deposited foreign currency directly into Bank of Ghana's offshore or nostro accounts. These funds were then used to buy petroleum products for domestic market. That was very simple. The Dor gold was either swapped directly for fuel or refined first and then exchanged for petroleum products. The fuel was delivered to Ghana, but the dollars used to buy it remained overseas. As a result, the local economy saw no direct injection of foreign currency. Notably, the entire arrangement was never subjected to parliamentary oversight. The ruling government at the time argued that the Gold for Oil program was not an executive policy, but a central bank initiative, and therefore did not require any parliamentary approval. The criteria for selecting these gold brokers, the fees paid, and the number of intermediaries involved have never been publicly disclosed. The cedi did stabilize in months after the G4O was launched, and fuel prices actually fell. While it's hard to actually isolate the program's direct impact from that of the IMF deal signed in May of 2023, the reduced dollar demand from oil importers likely contributed to easing exchange rate pressures. By November 2023, the then Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, told Parliament during the 2024 budget presentation that the Gold for Oil program accounted for some 30% of petroleum imports. No major updates followed until the release of the Bank of Ghana's 2024 financial report. The bank attributes most of the 2.1 billion loss to foreign exchange losses, but the key details remain missing. The volume of gold acquired, the fuel supply, the commissions paid, the intermediaries involved, and the broader impact of the program all gone missing. With over 2.1 billion Ghana cedis in reported losses and little transparency about how that program was run, the Gold for Oil has ended as a costly intervention. Well, it may have brought some temporary foreign exchange relief and cheaper fuel, but it ultimately left a deep hole in Bank of Ghana's books.
Is by choice, not cash, not coercion, not corruption. Vote buying silences the will of the people, and check illicit political financing weakens the very sovereignty of a state. Democracy falters when everyone's choice is compromised. An unprecedented multimedia politician-citizen forum brought to you by Joy News Impact Makers Foundation. This community-level engagement will spotlight illicit political financing, explore its implications, and proffer solutions to safeguarding Ghana's democracy. Democracy is not for sale on Joy News, Adom TV, Joy FM, Adom FM, and across our social media platforms.
The city had one of its most dramatic years in recent memory. It opened 2025 at 14 cities, 70 pesos to the dollar. By February, it had weakened slightly to 15 cities, 50 pesos. It stayed there until April, one of the longest periods of stability in more than a decade. Then came the surprise. Between April and May, the city shot up. It strengthened from 15 cities, 50 pesos to 10 cities, 30 pesos in just 5 weeks. From May through July and into early August, it held steady. steady between 10 cedis 30 pesos and 10 cedis 50 pesos. But by mid-August, the tide turned. In only 3 weeks, it slipped to 12 cedis. That has made it one of the worst performing currencies in the third quarter of 2025. External conditions have not changed much. In fact, they remain in Ghana's favor. Gold prices are at a record high. The United States dollar is still subdued, and the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates soon. Normally, these will support the city. The pressure instead is domestic. Remittances are one of Ghana's most reliable sources of dollars, but this year they slowed. Here's why. In April, sending $1,000 got you about 15,000 cedis, enough to buy around 150 bags of cement. By May, the same $1,000 fetched just 10,000 cedis, barely enough for 100 bags. With the money suddenly buying less in Ghana, many senders held back. They bet the cedi would weaken again. If it did, their transfers would convert into more cedis. This pause in inflows removed a steady cushion for dollars, and it came just as import demand was rising. The structure of Ghana's economy has not changed. Dollars still come mainly from gold, cocoa, oil, and remittances. So when remittances pause, the impact is felt. Imports have also surged. Traders rushed to take advantage of the stronger cedi. They stocked up ahead of the festive season. This added even more pressure on the currency. At the same time, there are signs the Bank of Ghana has cut back dollar supply. Why scale back? The reasons are not fully clear, but there are strong hints. Earlier this year, the IMF warned that the bank was intervening too heavily. It interjected about $1.4 billion in the first quarter alone. In response, the bank pledged to introduce a new framework for interventions. That is due by the end of September. This recent slowdown may be a trial run. Another factor is the gap between the interbank rate and the forex bureaus. While banks traded the cedi at 10 cedis 30 pesos to the dollar, bureaus were trading at 11 or even 12 cedis. Allowing some depreciation on the official side may be the bank's way of closing that gap. The wide difference was distorting the market. Meanwhile, the bank is also tightening foreign currency rules and demanding stricter paperwork before importers can access forex. For now, with gold prices above $3,500 per ounce and foreign reserves above $11 billion, the bank still has the firepower to steady the market. But heavy intervention is never a lasting solution unless gold prices stay high for a very long time, or the structure of the economy changes. This same debate over the cedi will keep coming back.
Thank you for staying with us. This is the AM show. Time now to review the news. A lot of matters arising, but quickly, let's run you through what's happening in front of the newspapers. The Hunter Pele is on standby. Kojo.
All right. Now, let's start with the Daily Guide newspaper. Front page. Now, 350 million contingency fund release. Minority calls for AG's resignation. Now, yesterday, and the minority had a presser in Parliament where they were saying that the government came to Parliament requesting to touch the contingency fund to get money for the flood victims. But they also say the AG was aware of a court order preventing government from, touching the contingency fund. And so if the government has done that, then the AG must be fired. But government is also defending that they didn't touch the contingency fund, but rather they touched what they call the contingency votes, which is part of the budget that was approved in Parliament. So if that's the case, then government says there's no case to answer, but we'll see. Minority say they still will pressure on this particular one. Name prosecute government officials in 208 million Aussie meth bust in Team Kojo. You remember that early this week, the Minister of Interior told us that some government and public officials have been, complicit in the whole meth deal. And Team Kojo, who's the ranking on the Defense and Interior Committee, says they have to be named. Those officials have to be named. Let's see how it goes. UNIMAC Chancellor Ofori-Sapon to strengthen academia industry ties. So Dr. Ofori-Sapon has been appointed as a Chancellor for UNIMAC in a move that many say is to strengthen the ties between academia and the industry. MPP set September 19 for new executive elections. That is the national executive. We know that this weekend there will be constituency elections. Okay. Then after this weekend in August, per their timetable, there will be the regional elections. And now the party says that 19th, there will be the national election. So let's see how it goes. Hanan ready to remain in custody until court rules. Dame, his lawyer, Godfred Dame, says Hanan doesn't believe in Iyoko and the AG, and therefore he's now willing to stay in custody until the court intervene. He doesn't believe them in terms of him being released? Or yes, I think so. I think he feels that they are playing some games with him, and so he feels that the court should rather intervene. When the court orders that he should be given bail, he knows that is the court speaking there. So that is what is coming in. The business analyst Ofori-Sapon to champion UNIMAC's vision, appointment to strengthen industry partnerships, boost global profile. PLOs owe government 1 million for good causes fund. Auditor General report reviews. The Auditor General report is coming out with a lot of things. Get in there and see what's happening. Attorney General Defense Tribunal's bill says it won't repeat past excesses. And Dami accuses Attorney General of misleading public over Hanan Abdul Wahab's arrest. Okay. And Cape Coast North MP backs national sanitation. They urges monthly cleanups to fight flooding. The overseer audit flags NLA's 400,000 cities My News GH contract. Hey, overseer. Okay, so according to the Auditor General, the NLA entered into a contract with My News GH where they were paying them 40,000 a month for publicity services. And that is what they are flagging here. Okay, Mahama government reviewing flood mitigating measures, assessing more interventions. Have a Hohoi Road contractor given 2 months to achieve 20% progress or face termination. The minister is not happy with the progress of work on that particular stretch. I want every contractor to watch what Justmore is doing on the Takrady Agro-Nkwanta Road. Fantastic work, good pace. I mean, local contractors, when they do that, you become excited. So Justmore, you're doing excellent. And when we say kudos to you, Justmore Constructions Limited, they are fantastic. So let's have a Hohoi Road contractor must go and learn from Justmore. Justmore is a solid contractor. So have yes. Okay, so have yes. Hohoi. That's your terrain, so yeah. All right, so that is it there. GRA allocate confiscated 18 truckloads of cargo to school feeding program. Okay, good news there. And this excited me. Morocco Education Ministry denies claims that country does not represent Africa. I mean, they're coming up against France. And there's this whole issue about Morocco says it does not represent Africa. In that case, African says then we will not support you. But now they want to cut our support. So the minister says, no. No. Those are not, they are lies. We represent Africa. So now they are part of Africa. In that case,
lessons with us as
exactly. Because you can't
have brutal though. Hey, how brutal.
No, you can't have the whole continent coming against you.
How?
We have to support you. So today, please, Africa, let's support Morocco against France. Because in the morning, I had said that earlier in the morning. I said that we are going to support United Africa. Because everybody knows that France is a United Africa. It's Africa 11. So if Morocco says we are not Africans, we support France then. But they are begging us. They say that no, we haven't said that. We represent Africa. So let's all support Morocco in tonight's game. Okay, the Hawk newspaper says return of the party vigilantes unveils the lions of MPP. So this unveiling came off, I'm told, is Upper West or so. And the paper is asking whether this signals a return to the party vigilantes that we had some time ago. But let's see how this turns out. Amin Adam backs Afoko's return. KUST lover killer accused back in court and hands for $960,000 MDF lease cash. And this is about MDF. You know, they left their former office into a new office. And I'm told that before they left, there was some excess of $960,000 that was there that they had to, but they've not gone for. So the audit that was done in 2025 has pointed out this money and is asking that they have to go and chase it. Alhaji Lotto paid 400,000 cedis for headlines. And no top jobs for bloggers. Council of State blocks dual citizenship amendments. Okay, so that is there. Insight on Communist Party's 105th anniversary. China affirms modern socialist society by 2049. China seems to be doing something right. The world should look at China. Ambassador Konsong highlights CPC's governance model and deepening China-Africa cooperation. Okay, Senate unveils MVP initiative and Ghana's creative future gets a boost as Ernest Oforisapon becomes Unimak's first chancellor. Okay, all right, that's it there. Let's zoom at johnonline.com. It's been tough. Akufo-Addo says government needed 18 months to understand youth jobs crisis. That's coming out of the PM Express last night. I mean, so get details on that. Youth Ministry found fragmented government programs holding back jobs, George Akufo-Addo says, and minority demands INS removal of alleged breach in 350 million flood fund disbursements. So that is there. Let's just end it here, Emefa. Hand over to you.
All right, Kojo. Thank you so much. Let's get into the matters then. This morning, we're joined by Kofi Tonto, his spokesperson on employment and jobs for the NPP. Solomon Owusu is Director of Communications for the United Party. And as well, Hamza Suhini is lawyer and member of the NDC Communications team. We'll get into the matters shortly, but let's tell you how the weather will be looking like today. So that's your weather for today. Stay well and stay safe. Okay, I've got my panelists. We're all set. But first, Kofi, let me ask you, where's Hanan? Do you know where he is?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know?
The Attorney General should tell us. But, I mean, what I'm hearing is that he's been let go on unconditional basis. You know, from what was on the news. By the way, let me say a very good morning to Hamza, and then also to Solo, and to yourself and our cherished viewers. From the reports I've read this morning, you know, another bill was placed on him, $5 million, cedis, with 2 sureties. But he insisted that he rather stays, you know, in the custody of Yoko. And then for some reason, they just decided to let him off.
This means that the $5 million bail is not holding anymore?
No, I mean, from what I'm hearing. And that's why it will be best for the government to come out and really, when you ask me where he is, I think it will be best for the government to come out and tell us where he is. Because everything that I'm saying is based on the reports I've read. And whether or not that is 100% accurate would be based on what the government tells us. And his lawyers also. But at least from what I'm hearing is that he's been let go without any bail conditions.
Okay.
But before we go into this issue, there was this story that you read just before we started on the Council of State advising on dual citizenship holding positions. I find it quite intriguing, largely because our constitution is clear on who a Ghanaian is. You know, the constitution says a Ghanaian is a person born in or outside of Ghana, and at the time of birth, one parent, at least one parent, or at least one grandparent is a Ghanaian. So take my son, for example. My son was born outside. At the time my son was born, I was a Ghanaian. At least one grandparent of my son was a Ghanaian. So my son is a Ghanaian. And that is a right enshrined in the Constitution.
Yes.
So if my son at a point in his life comes to Ghana to hold a position, is the position of Council of State that my son will not qualify because through no fault of his, he was born outside of Ghana, but even though the Constitution allows him to be a Ghanaian?
That's the understanding you put in their recommendation or the advice.
What are these things? I mean, the committee, the Kwesi Prempeh committee did, you know, a large stakeholder engagement, and I believe that they had to have engaged the Council of State. And per that advice, they came up with a report. And the report says, at least to an extent, I think aside from the president, and the vice president, almost every other position, once you're a dual citizen, you can go ahead and hold it.
Why did the Constitution even say aside the president? What was the thinking that went into it? Because this means that there's some positions that surely you must have full allegiance to a particular
because
country.
You are the first gentleman of the state.
How does that insulate somebody who's supposed to be a defense minister?
No, because the president's position is not comparable to any other position. That is the law. The president's position is not comparable to any other position. In fact, we when you read the Constitution, we give so much, or we entrust so much in the hands of the president.
True.
So you cannot compare the president to, let's say, a defense minister or interior minister. Okay? Even though those positions are equally sensitive. But the point is, even if there were, you know, aside from the president, the vice president, even if it is a security position, I may not be so bothered if, for example, they added defense minister. I may not be so bothered. But, for example, the other position, you know, for example, now it says chief fire officer cannot be a dual citizen.
Because he's under the interior ministry. Interior as well.
Yeah, no, but there are other positions that can be under the Interior Ministry, and they can.
So if I get you, and this is we didn't table this, but it's quite an interesting discussion. I'll take the thoughts of the two panelists before we go into other matters. So in a nutshell, the position or the advice by the Council of State, you think?
No, I think for me, aside from the president and the vice president, we must make room for dual citizens to participate in our nation building exercise. Ghanaians abroad.
Does the advice really take them away from, generally? I think they were very specific in certain roles.
Okay, so I'm saying that from what you read, I'm going by what you read on the screen.
Okay.
I mean, if there are more details to what they said, you can share it. But from what you read, and that is why I'm saying that, if they go beyond what you said, then of course we can interrogate it. But from what you read, that's why I wanted to quickly.
Solomon, I'm sure you've followed that. Let me just give you some few minutes to react to. Do you share in his thoughts?
No, I don't share. It's a selfish position that I don't share. The Council of State, they are spot on. I mean, what are we discussing? You say you are a Ghanaian. Why must you hold the nationality of another country? You can't serve two masters, Kofi.
But I gave you an example why somebody may have to hold two citizenship by no fault of them.
But the point is that you have the opportunity of renouncing that citizenship.
No, it is by birth. No. They were given that by birth.
That is why you have an opportunity of renunciation. What is preventing you? Want to be an ambassador of Ghana?
Yeah.
You understand? You still want to. Let's say you hold Ghanaian and the U.S. nationality. You are an ambassador of Ghana. And you go to the U.S., we are negotiating. Where would the allegiance be?
But Ghanaians are there who live in America, work for American companies, and they still...
That is America. So the Constitution is so clear that it's not...
So I lived in America for 25 years. Are you saying that my allegiance will be altered because I became a... If for example,
I don't know the rules in America, but if you held a dual citizenship...
It's allowed.
Both Ghana and you can hold certain positions in, because this...
Yeah, but even, what's his name? There are people who, I have to cross-check on this, but there are people who came to America, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, came to America. He's from Austria, gained American citizenship. I have to check whether he denounced it or not. Yeah, I have to check. But I'm saying that there are people who have lived in America for quite a long time. They were not born.
By
denouncing allegiance does not necessarily make you.
So your naturalization oath as an American. This is what you say. Let's use it to do this discussion.
This is naturalization. I gave you an example of somebody who was not naturalized.
That's why I told you.
That's what I'm saying. So yes. Don't limit the conversation to people who naturalize. Don't limit it.
So your allegiance, your oath of allegiance, your oath of allegiance, it is telling you that look, I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty of whom or which I have herefore to been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States. So
what are you saying? So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
That's why I said it's a selfish.
There are Emefa, there are Ghanaians who remain Ghanaian citizens.
Yes.
And are in the U.S. Army.
Yes.
So what are you saying? But they read.
No, but what I'm saying is that. But the point is that.
No, you are referencing an oath. I'm saying that.
Yes.
There are Ghanaians.
Those people, I don't trust them that they will serve the interests of Ghana very well. When it comes to matters, what I'm saying.
Like the Ghanaian soldiers.
How can your defense minister, for instance, how can your defense minister be a Ghanaian and also a nationality of another country? How can your cabinet secretary be a Ghanaian and also a citizen of another country? How can your ambassador? How can your IGP, for Christ's sake?
But he's telling you that it's no fault of the person.
So you renounce. It's very simple.
The cure is to renounce.
The cure. Renounce.
Why don't you want to renounce?
No, it's not about me.
No, you. I'm not talking about you. But figuratively.
Yes.
I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you read an oath.
Yes.
And I'm saying even that oath that you read.
Yes.
Ghanaians who remain Ghanaian citizens,
yes,
read that oath and hold American citizenship as well, and perform duties for the American government. Look, I'm saying that there are Ghanaians who work for the federal government.
So the point is,
and still remain Ghanaian.
No, so the point is.
Please let me finish.
But you are done. It's my turn.
Actually, that's true.
You don't want me to speak.
Actually, that's fair.
But she asked me a question.
So, how can she ask you a question? You're doing selfish business over here this morning.
How am I being selfish?
The point is that the Council of State, they are spot on. If you want to be an IGP, all that they are saying is that renounce whatever other citizenship you have and be only a Ghanaian. Is it too much to ask for? I mean, what's the point in holding serving two masters? It doesn't work. Look, somewhere 2021, when we started dealing with the issue of LGBTQ, you remember the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana went to Parliament to speak to Speaker Bagbin that they must tread cautiously. Imagine Speaker Bagbin as a Speaker of Ghana was a Ghanaian and also Australian. How would the position be? How would the position be?
Be a conflict.
Absolutely. That is why you don't want to put yourself in that conflict situation. So renounce one. And between Ghana and any developed economy, I'm telling you that we will be worse off. Because most of the reason has been economic. Most of the reason why people procure foreign citizenship is economic. You understand? So between Ghana and that country, the likelihood that the balance of probability will tilt towards that country is very high. So if you are a country and you know your situation, you must promote laws that will safeguard your national security. Even in the US now, they are considering. It's a matter under discussion that certain sensitive positions must be restricted to only Americans. It is something that they are discussing now. So why would Kofi want to have an issue with it?
What do you, when you say only Americans, what does that mean? Somebody can be an American citizen and still be a dual citizen, but they can still get a federal job.
So they want to take out,
which is the pure reserve for Americans.
Yeah, they get
so what does that mean?
But you see, the point is that under this constitution, it's not every position that dual citizen cannot hold.
Yes,
it has been specified.
They had criteria.
And let me give you
they had
ambassadors or high commissioners.
I know the positions.
So don't let us create the impression as though it is all positions that foreign.
But Solo, the committee, the constitutional committee, read this, and still made a recommendation.
But that is not what under discussion.
So what it means is
this
that
is a totally different bill in Parliament. Not that the constitutional review has done. It is a private members bill that they have sent to Parliament for amendment of our constitution to take into consideration allowing dual citizens to understand. But you see, there is a classical case. But you know, Ofo-Boanye. At the time Ofo-Boanye became the president of Cote d'Ivoire, he was a national of France. In fact, he was holding a position in France. It is the reason why Ghana, up to date, has not been able to work closely with Cote d'Ivoire when it comes to Akoko matters. He was having dual allegiance. Whereas we wanted to team up with Cote d'Ivoire and have a common position on cocoa matters, he was being, as it were, twisted by the French. So please, your son will have to naturalize, renounce that US, give out that US passport. You don't want your son to give it up?
It's not about whether my son gives it up. It's about the right of the
individual. Which one is that right?
Hamza, let's get to the legalities. But Kofi, maybe the crux of it will be that Council of State is saying that there are some positions, really, as for you hold being a dual citizen and performing certain duties in Ghana, they're not preventing it. But they are quite strict on a few and certain positions. What
are the positions?
That they think? I think it listed.
Is a high commissioner, ambassador or high commissioner?
That is what are they holding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what they see.
They are insisting on this. Yes.
Okay.
Only this.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Only this.
Good morning to you and good morning to my
Let me see what that
was. Cherished viewers out there and the production team as well. Emefa, I can understand the concerns of my brother, Kofi. And I respect also the position of Solomon, and especially the Council of State on this matter. I say so because I am in both worlds.
Of course.
Not as an individual, but because of my own kids as well.
Yes.
Now, First of all, I am not in any way against the decision of the Council of State to insist that we should maintain these positions and ensure that dual citizens are not allowed to occupy those positions. I think that it is politically fair, especially because there are concerns of the likelihood of influences from other countries because of the incidence of dual citizenship. But one significant point that needs to be made also is that for me, when it comes to issues, for example, access to parliament and the timelines given, because we have a number of cases in relation to that where people feel to more or less resign or denounce citizenship of other countries and were found wanting. That is where I have my concern, to be honest with you. Is it not possible for us to allow dual citizens the opportunity to elect to be members of parliament in Ghana? Maybe when it comes to certain committees in parliament, they are either prevented from being part of those committees as a way of dealing with any concerns of.
No worry, we're here.
No, can we all? You're distracting me.
Don't worry, the viewers are listening to you.
So, for me, that is the concern I have in parliament. But I can also understand the fear in opening up parliament to dual citizens, because in any case, all sensitive information from the executive would eventually end up in parliament. And so if you want to be a source of information to another country, it becomes easier from the angle of parliament. So justifiable too. But in this day and age, I disagree with Kofi when he says that it is not due to the fault of his son that he's a citizen of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if you give birth today, and even if you are a citizen of the United Kingdom or UK, you can decide to hold the application for citizenship for your child until such a time that he's come of age, to take that decision by him or herself. It is something that can be done, not so.
Where? In the US or UK?
In the US too, you can.
Do what?
They can be given permanent residential status, or do they have to apply right away for citizenship?
But you are a citizen by birth. It's granted by birth.
In the US?
Yes.
Yeah, that option.
So I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar.
But my kids are
in
not
the UK. Well, it's not granted. It's not by.
Okay, US is
UK is not
Ghana,
by birth.
you are not citizen by birth. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
No, Ghana.
Ghana. Your parent has to be a Ghanaian before.
But in America,
yes, in America, just by birth.
Today, it's not a topic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no.
It's not a topic. It is a topic he came home with. That's why.
No, I heard it here, and then I wanted to come.
I am giving it prominence. So let's wrap on it quickly and go to the other.
So for me, I think that it is a matter of choice. And I agree that if ever you are interested in occupying a position in Ghana, the laws allow you to denounce that citizenship and come and contest in Ghana. In any case, after living abroad for a certain period of time, what would be the motivation? If indeed you have a burning desire to serve your country, what would be the burning motivation to still want to hold on to a citizenship of another country? I think these are legitimate questions we should ask. Because if it is about service, and you are quite uncomfortable with the economic situations in the country, and because of that you still want to hold on to another citizenship, then it raises issues of even your own commitment to being part of the process to drive change and ensure that you deliver in a way that you'll be comfortable enough to say that, look, this is my country, and economically I'm doing very well.
Right.
So I don't think that it is an issue we have to be concerned about, especially at this stage of our...
I agree. So let's go to the things that we should concern ourselves about. Let's stay in Parliament. Surely
I can't win this debate, so let's move.
Sorry.
No, it's not about who is winning.
Nobody is winning.
That is why I'm telling you that.
Can't win, so
myself and you, I can understand. You understand? And I can associate with your concerns.
You are
but the reality also is that it is not about us. It is bigger than us.
It's bigger. It's a constitutional matter. Anywho,
even about children.
So let me have your attention. Let's stay in Parliament
and decide that they are not interested.
I was just citing it.
Gentlemen.
Their decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the same way.
So let's stay in Parliament. Surely you have heard the demands by the minority on the 350 million contingency. Now, we don't know whether we should add fund or vote money. I don't know, but the initial arrangement, as we know, was that 350 million will come from the contingency fund. Well, of course, until the minority came up with that press conference, wouldn't know exactly where the funding was coming from. We shouldn't mar the matter by saying that, oh, it's an emergency and it's flood, we must respond. And so we had to wait for minority to do their job before we know exactly where the funding is coming from. A lot of pushback has come. Minority is asking that the AG steps down because of what? Let me start with you, Hamza. What's wrong has the AG done? Mm-hmm. What's wrong has the finance minister done? Or what wrong has the BOG governor done to draw the finance minister's attention to the fact that there's a Ghana share proceeding on that particular source of funding, contingency fund, and so they would want to go around it and go to an existing fund that is made available in the budget. What's the wrong here?
First of all, I think that question should have been directed at the NPP because they are those making those claims. But you see, Emefa, I have always said that the NPP's minority in parliament is caged up in their own self-inflicted bubble of incompetence and confusion. And so when you are listening to them, there's a need for you to be careful because you'll be hoodwinked to thinking that there's something wrong with our republic. There's something wrong with our governance. And there are issues with our institutions. But when in actual sense, they are the problem. And so you must be able to distill that confusion and incompetence that characterize the politics of the recent NPP from the facts on the ground. And what are the facts? Under Article 177 of the 1992 Constitution, the executive is mandated by law to make a request for releases to be made from the contingency fund to deal with issues of emergency. And one classical issue of emergency is the issue of floods that we experience. The president, in line with that constitutional provision, requested releases to be made. But within the same constitution, it is not the president who has that authority to grant such releases. It is the Parliament of Ghana, through his committees, the Finance Committee of Parliament. Now, in actioning the directive of the president, a request was made to the Finance Committee of Parliament, and they met. The Finance Committee of Parliament is not made up of only NDC MPs. NPP MPs are part of the Finance Committee of Parliament. And you and I know that the same constitution gives oversight responsibility of government spending to Parliament of Ghana. And so if you all participated in the processes leading to the grant of that permission for the Minister of Finance to access that account, and you did not know as part of your oversight responsibility that there was a Ghanaian order on that account, that even Parliament itself granted permission to the Attorney General, to the Minister of Finance to go ahead, that it is not just an issue of the AG, but to a very large extent, a failure on the part of Parliament, and including the MPP members. That is, if their argument is true, we are proceeding on the basis that, look, there was a Ghanaian order. Mm-hmm. If that is true, then Parliament itself is caught up in that illegality, including Afenyo Markin and his caucus.
How so?
As part of
because the spokesperson for government says that, in fact, that contingency fund, they didn't even go there because they acknowledged the Ghanaian proceed.
At what point?
I am building it.
Okay.
If you are a bit patient, you will know. And I'll tell you why I have a problem with the position. I'm just telling you that illegality, they are telling that AG should resign because the Minister of Finance made an attempt. Did you listen to Apiadi? Mm-hmm. The press conference?
Yes.
They are calling for the AG to resign.
Yes.
The Attorney General to resign because they believe that he accessed an account that he allowed the Minister of Finance to access the contingency fund that was under a Ghanaian order.
Yes.
And so it is a breach of the court's directive in this country, for which reason he ought to resign. Mm-hmm. And I am telling you that if that argument is anything to go by, that even though the members of the Parliament Finance Committee, they themselves, including the MPP, they should be resigning. Because as part of their oversight responsibility, what cross-checks did they carry out before granting permission to Minister of Finance to proceed? And they wanted the Attorney General to stand on the way of Parliament. That's one. Now,
that is if the facts were correct, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Secondly, Emefa, a claim was also made by, if you listen to the minority leader, indeed he said on the floor of Parliament that permission, the Attorney General gave an opinion advising against accessing that account on the floor of Parliament 2 days ago.
So that contradicts what the minorities.
Absolutely. And you can play that video. And so when I tell you that this is a party that is caged up in a bubble of their own self-inflicted bubble of confusion, I know what I'm talking about. Their minority leader 2 days ago in Parliament indicated that his information was to the effect that the Attorney General gave an opinion cautioning against access to that particular fund. And yet the Minister of Finance proceeded to access it. Less than 24 hours, his deputy organized a press conference and claimed that the Attorney General failed to advise the Minister of Finance, and for which reason the Attorney General must be made to step aside or must resign. Who is speaking the truth? Where is this coming from? And these are legitimate questions we should ask. And Emefa, as if that is not enough. You see, when you monitor the politics of this current MPP, sometimes it makes you wonder whether indeed they understand the basic rudiments of governance, especially even when it comes to our constitutional architecture. I dare say around this table that even if we are proceeding on the assumption that there was a garnishee order and the government, through the Minister of Finance, accessed that account, it does not in itself render itself as conclusive in terms of law that there's a breach of law. Because and I'll explain why. The Supreme Court has stated clearly that if there is a violation of a garnishee order, especially when it concerns the state, there are certain exceptional circumstances where the state will be pardoned.
Did they give the conditions?
They gave. Procedural flaws is one key consideration. So, for example, in the Republic versus Attorney General, ex-party, I think it's ex-party, Republic versus High Court, ex-party Attorney General, they call it, is it the Mort Nongo case? The Supreme Court enumerated a number of considerations and proceeded to say that if there is even a violation of a garnishee order and you bring a contempt against the violator, for example, maybe the Attorney General, it is not enough for them to simply proceed to punish because the Attorney General seems to have violated a garnishee order. They would have to look at the merits of the case, including the processes employed that led to the garnishee of their particular account by the High Court, and also service. So maybe if the Attorney General looked at the processes, you may see that there's a garnishee order. And he feels that, look, these processes, A, B, C, and D, I can defend it in court, even if you access the account. And he gives an opinion and you access the account.
To go and defend it.
He goes to court, he can be pardoned.
Okay, Hamza, I have a few questions before I go to Kofi and Solomon. This would have been what we would be discussing if indeed the money came from the contingency fund that rests under Article 177. Now we're told that it's not from the contingency fund, by the spokesperson, Felix Kochifas.
Contingency vote, yeah.
So where did the money come from?
I cannot sit here and tell you where the money comes from.
Well, he mentioned that it's from contingency vote, the amount of money that is usually set aside in the appropriation bill.
No, what I'm still telling you is that I cannot confirm where that is coming from, but to the extent that he's the minister responsible for information.
You should work with that.
Yes, I think that it is good information that we can work with.
But you're advancing the argument that even if it came from the contingency fund, these are your arguments, these are your theories. And
even outside that, I'm making the point also that to justify the references to the contingency boot that Felix Honorable spoke about, is that even under the same Article 177, you are required by law to give a supplementary estimate after accessing the money of how those monies will be repaid. The same provision, Article 177.
Yeah, 177, yeah.
You are required to give a supplementary estimate as to how you repay the monies back into the contingency fund. So if the government, through financial engineering, realizes that I can still access this from this particular fund without breaching the laws of Ghana, and as part of the supplementary estimate, I will detail how that money will be repaid. Fair enough. The government can do so. If you believe that the government is breaching the laws of Ghana as a minority, the remedy is not in press conferences. It's the law.
Yeah.
But do you know why, in the midst of all this, the direction is at the instance of the Attorney General? They are not talking about Parliament. They are not talking about Minister of Finance. There's a consistent attempt on the part of the MPP to always pursue their selfish parochial interests under the guise of the national interest.
How?
Look, is it the Attorney General? How can you criminalize an opinion? They know that, and they are lawyers. So is it the Attorney General who is in charge of the PFMA? Who implements it? And if he is not, Emefa, if he is not, the critical question we should be asking is that why are they calling on him to resign? It is because he is a thorn in the flesh of the NPP when it comes to the issues of accountability and the cases in court.
But if he resigns, there will be another Attorney General.
No, but you see, there will be another Attorney General. But they know this Attorney General.
This one. Okay.
They know this Attorney General. In any case, if not, why is it that the direction is against the Attorney General? Why are they calling for the head of the Attorney General, not even the Minister of Finance?
Because they described it as an illegality, a breach of a particular law. And if it's a breach of a particular law, who best should they speak to?
Who says that? But
per their narration.
That is why I'm telling you that we cannot proceed on the basis of the MPP's definition of what is lawful and what is unlawful. That responsibility has been placed on the courts of this country.
Okay.
So if they believe that what this government has done is an illegality, the good place for them to go and test it is the law courts, not Apello Martins or Apiage's.
They actually are sure. They said that they will use all.
I am not interested in whether they are sure or not, but the most important thing is that let us not proceed on the basis of the MPP's conclusion that there is a breach of law. As I speak with you today, we have not been able to establish that there is a breach of law. The only way to establish so is for them to go to court, contest the decision of government on this matter. And if government decides that, look, there's a breach of the courts decide that there's a breach of the law, we all respect it.
Okay, I'm going to go to Kofi. When I come back to you, maybe because you didn't know what transpired between Felix Kojo giving us an update. He's the one that came to actually say that there's nothing happening because we didn't even go to the contingency fund. We used the contingency vote, which, I mean, has already been appropriated because the financial committee sat on it. They know that such amount of money is usually kept in for such a situation, which then later the finance minister can use to reimburse if that money was taken from the contingency fund. But my question is, why do we do this to ourselves? It had to take the minority to come and say that. Well, we know that the president says, let's assess the contingency fund. We know that there must be a certain process. We're in Parliament. If you've not come to tell us how you're going about that contingency fund, then you're proceeding to use a certain fund, then you're breaching a particular law, which will be the contingency fund you have said you want to access. It took that press conference for the government spokesperson to now even say that, yes, indeed, there was a Ghanaian order on the contingency fund. That's one. The Attorney General, of course, advised the Finance Minister, the BOG governor as well drew the Finance Minister's attention, which now they decided, why not? Let's assess the contingency vote, an amount of money that is sitting down. It took us to bring that conference, took Kojo Brace to have a conversation with Felix Kojo for us to have that information. Will Parliament have known that, yes. Will minority have known that the funding came from the contingency vote? I'll come to you, but Kofi, yesterday was a very steaming press conference.
For all the basis, all the prelims you did,
yes,
actually meant should be directed at me.
It's for you. No, that question was for you. I said when I come back, I'll take the answer from you. And so I'm now going to Kofi's question. Kofi, did you follow the press conference through to development to yesterday?
Not entirely.
Okay.
You know, I had to read quickly on it when Kingsley reached out that I should join the discussion this morning. So I've been listening to my brother, and you know, he describes the minority in, you know, unpalatable terms. But you see, the point of a minority, to an extent, is to hold the majority accountable, especially in the parliament where we have 188 or so, or 168 to 88 members of parliament. You know, there's the tendency of the government bullying its way through on a lot of issues. And we've seen that where specific taxes that they wanted to pass, even in the night, they will come through and bully their way and get it done. So
that's a character trait of Ghana's parliament. It's not very exclusive to this government.
Well, my point is, the point I was defining the role of the minority. So whether it's happened in the past or not is not the debate I'm having. The debate I'm having is that the minority has a role, to sort of oversight role, to say, okay, the government intends to do this, whether it's MPP or NDC. They did it to us, and we also have a right to do it to them, in the sense that once you are in government, the minority has to hold you accountable.
True.
And so when we raise questions, in fact, the story Kingsley shared with me, the word, let me read the relevant, the caucus claims that the disbursement may have, emphasis on may have. So when a minority caucus raise issues, they raise issues based on the information available to them. And they will say, to an extent that information is true, unless contrary information is provided, then we call for these actions to be taken. So for you to describe the minority in such manner is quite disrespectful, Hamza. And I don't think our democracy calls for that kind of engagement. Why? What are the facts? The president says, you know, I want to devote a certain amount to support flood reliefs. So let's go and take the money and do all the things that we have to do. The understanding initially was that the funds were going to be taken from the contingency fund. And the minority holds the view that that contingency fund has a garnishee order attached to it. Sure. So if you are going to take funds out of it, you must go through certain processes to be able to do that. Now, it turns out later that the money will not actually come from the contingency fund, but the money will come from the contingency vault. The first question we ask ourselves is, why is it not coming from the contingency fund? Because, as you referenced, even Felix, the spokesperson, admitted that indeed there is a garnishee attached to it. So, to an extent, Felix even recognizes the concerns the minority is raising. Because if indeed there is a garnishee attached to it, there must be processes. That is why, in the government's own wisdom, is saying that let's avoid this fund and let's go to an alternative source of funding. Emphasizing that if the minority raised concerns about an issue, it is important. Because, look, you see, one thing we have to understand is that when the minority raise an issue, they don't raise it for just the majority.
Yes.
They raise it for us.
Yes.
They raise it for Ghanaians. But for the minority raising it, would you have heard it?
No.
Would you have known the difference between... You know, sometimes when issues come up, it's when Ghanaians even, not just here, learn. How many Ghanaians know that we have a contingency fund and we have a contingency vault? How many Ghanaians know that? But out of these sort of oversight responsibility, a lot of things emerge, and it allows for Ghanaians to learn. One thing I have paid attention to, at least in our politics, is that there are a lot of issues that emerge either from the Attorney General or from individuals or from Parliament or from the opposition party that become the platform to become the platform for education. So even that in itself adds value. So how can you describe such an exercise as incompetent? I mean, how? What is incompetent about it? That the minority say that there may be violations, and if indeed there are those violations, those responsible must step aside. What is the crime? For you to sit here and describe the minority. Look, Hamza, nobody hates the Attorney General. He's a movie star. After all, that is what he's positioning himself to be since he became the Attorney General. He's in front of the cameras all the time. Look, the guy loves cameras than the law. Ghana's Attorney General, he loves the cameras than the law. He and his deputy, his deputy is a social media star, more or less. Writing and saying things on social media, legal cases, even before they start, they will write issues on social media, take all the credit, and they do very little.
Okay, Kofi.
Very little.
I have a question.
Are you saying we shouldn't say that?
Considering the education we have just had about the role of minority or opposition party, if you have concerns and you raise it, and then you discover that, okay, the explanation giving is very accurate, would there be a time that the opposition minority will say that, okay, we're fine, we're okay?
There's no harm in doing that. There's no harm in doing it.
Because I saw the slight pushback by Jerry Ahmed yesterday when he quickly sought to move away from where the funding was coming from and to how the money was going to be disbursed. And this was two issues. But
minority can have multiple issues.
He had my attention when he said that it will be his first time hearing that source of funding that Felix Kwasi-Fosu had mentioned.
Yeah, but that's even what I referenced. That, see, sometimes you'll be surprised. That, look, governance...
But the vote happens in Parliament, it's not outside. The contingency vote happens in Parliament.
No. I'm saying that, look, in Parliament, in public, in whatever space you find yourselves, people learn new things all the time. Let's not create the impression that individuals must know everything. Even in Parliament, just a few days ago, Arnold Dompre asked Felix a few questions. He's the minister in charge of government's communication or spokesperson. He said, let me go and come back.
Sure, I mean,
yes, he said, let me go and come back because I don't have all the facts. In fact, we need to build a society where people can say, look, I don't have this information now. I don't have a deeper understanding of this information. Let me go and come back. Because that is only when we can have honest discussions. Because we have a society where Kofi Tonto comes to say here, Kofi doesn't understand the issues, but Kofi must necessarily force himself to speak on the issues. That makes a fool out of me.
So that we don't confuse it, because of course, I don't expect people to know everything, including myself. You can't know everything. But for this particular matter, usually for contingency votes, the funding that is made available in the budget, is it debated at a committee level or in Parliament itself?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know necessarily.
I think Parliament.
Okay, that's okay. I wouldn't know necessarily.
Okay.
Again.
That's why I was asking.
No problem. Again, you remember the time when Akufo-Addo was brought to Parliament for interrogation? That, they were going to charge him with corruption, etc., and the minority did it. Do you remember Akufo-Addo then pointing out to them that this is where the money came from? And then a lot of parliamentarians were even surprised.
Which one of them?
Do you recall the cathedral issue?
The censorship.
The cathedral issue, and he was saying that, look, I didn't breach any law. The monies came from, I don't know if he used the contingency fund or the contingency vote or something like that. And he referenced, and a lot of people were surprised, oh, okay, so this is actually on our books. This is actually allowed. In Parliament.
Okay. So should the minority withdraw the demand of that?
That is not for me to say.
But what do you think?
No, I'm saying that when minority raise issues, they raise issues for oversight purposes, for clarity purposes, for educational purposes. The minority, if in their wisdom find that, okay, we are now satisfied with the information the spokesperson is saying, they may simply move away from the issue.
Okay.
And it doesn't make the minority bad. In fact, it means that they are doing their job. Let's not create the impression that by raising an issue on a particular subject, you necessarily mean bad all the time. No, sometimes you just want to raise it so you can educate the people, inform the people, and create awareness to the government that, look, we are watching. and whatever you are doing, we will make sure you do the right thing. That is the duty of the minority. Now, I want to go back to what Hamza was saying. Look, nobody hates the Attorney General. We have raised concerns about his behavior. What did you say?
You have already made that point.
What is your issue? What is your
Solo
issue?
is assisting me this morning.
What is your issue? I was on that topic and Emefa moved me away. I want to come back.
That topic was of no. I didn't want to put prominence on that.
But you allowed Hamza to place prominence on it and say that we are afraid of him. And we are who's afraid of Ayini? Who's afraid of Ayini? For what?
To put that out clear, they are not.
We are not afraid of him. We don't care. We are not scared of him. We don't hate him.
Okay.
Look, if a person turns himself into a movie star and we hold him accountable,
you would watch the movie.
We will watch a movie and critique.
That's true.
Whether it's riveting or poor.
Or what? Okay.
We will critique. And that's all we are doing. We don't hate him.
Okay.
Look, stop writing on social media, Justice Rims. I stop the social media, gangsterism, always writing on it and putting people.
Let's give a minute to that. What's the challenge with his writing on?
Because you see, go and read the comments. You see, go and read the comments. Streamside created the impression that the suspect or the person under consideration,
who is that? You mean the
Hanan case,
okay,
was traveling abroad, and then he tried to access frozen accounts. Okay. Now, when you read the comments, and people comment under his post
from the MPP,
from people like Solo, you should go and read the comments. They have formed opinion. They are calling him a criminal.
Calling who?
Hanan.
Oh, we have moved straight.
No. She asked me a specific question.
He's been quite big on the Deputy Attorney General writing on Facebook. So,
but I thought the Hanan issue was a different.
No,
we're not talking about
Hanan. She asked me a specific question. Maybe when we get there, we can discuss it. But I don't have a problem.
Solomon. The demand for the Attorney General's removal, I don't know. Your position on that. Hamza as well advances an interesting theory that, well, even if the Attorney General indeed advised against or for, and they still went into that contingency fund, it was incumbent on him to defend it. He has ways and means that he'd be able to defend it.
Absolutely. I mean, listening to Kofi, I think the press conference was needless. At the point in time, he's telling us that it was for education purpose.
I didn't say that. You didn't hear
me. Through the press conference, you can learn things. So the minority doing their job.
No. I was giving a general interpretation that
you want to take advantage.
No, but you are misquoting.
But did he say that? Did he not say that?
I just clarified.
No, I said it in the context that when minority do their job, it serves more than one purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm referencing one of the purposes that it could be for educational purpose.
No, you said that. I said that they did it for educational purpose. That's not what I said.
But it could be one of the...
You could say that, but that's not what I said.
So I take it from that angle that it was for educational purpose. And, I mean, confused. If you read the story, the second paragraph, the caucus claims the disbursement may have violated. So it means they are not too sure. So how do you move on the premise of something that you are not certain about to call for the resignation?
If you say may,
it means you are not too sure about that.
Take here or take that.
So they are not too sure. But you see, in their opening paragraph, the minority in Parliament is demanding the immediate resignation. How do you marry the two? You are not too sure about it. And I agree with Hamza too, that if you have members of your caucus being part of the finance committee, 19 members, out of that you have about 5. You have Amin Adams, you have Stika, you have Loretta Asante, you have Azigbo Ahmad there, you have Kabiru Tia, you have, there's another person, all in there. And interestingly, if you realize, yesterday's press conference, none of these people were present. Because they know the truth. That's why I am going by your assumption that it was for educational purpose. And if indeed you want to educate them...
to be fair, you know that Kofi didn't say that the minority does the job for education.
Sometimes, he says sometimes.
Sometimes.
Oh, sometimes. And I'm going, and it's a very...
So why don't you take the constant? Why are you sticking to the one?
Which one is the constant?
He gave other reasons. They are doing their job.
That they are providing oversight responsibility.
Absolutely.
How is this oversight? How is this an oversight? The people themselves are not too sure.
If it was not an oversight, Felix will not come out and clarify.
Because the point is that you went and lied.
How
and when you lie, somebody must clarify.
Where is the lie?
And
but they did that press conference based on the information available to them.
From where?
Because they had not gone back to Parliament to tell them that the money came from the contingency vote.
Well, I don't get it.
So I'm saying that if we go by the press conference yesterday, yes. They say the president said, let's access contingency fund.
Absolutely. That's what the president
They are proceeding on the premise of if the 350 has been released,
yes,
and NADMO is doing their job already,
yes.
Has it come from the contingency fund? Because if it does, we here would have known.
But does it call for a press conference? This is a matter that you can easily write to find out from the finance minister.
No. If they wrote, that could have been public.
If it's not for cheap politicking, it is something you can easily. In fact, the finance committee that they have members on, they can easily verify. You understand? And this is not the first time you are using the contingency vote. Like he rightly said, during the censorship motion, Kojo when they said the National Cathedral that you are talking about, I used the contingency vote. And once Parliament passed the appropriation bill, contingency vote has been passed. So you can always forward. And even with that, you have to replenish. You have to replace the amount that you took. But I was from the vote. I was very surprised that the minority did not even inquire what the 350 million was going to be used for. For me, that would have...
it was for the flood.
No, the flood, how?
What president?
So you go into the breakdown. Yeah. For me, if a minority party was, which we would do as a united party, as a matter of we are gathering data from all sides to actually go into the quantities, the numbers. Whether or not the money will be used for the purpose, I hear 150 is for relief.
Yeah.
And then the 200 is for what? Mitigation. So this is what must interest you, not peripherals. What are we going to get from you asking whether or not the money came from the contingency fund or vote, like he was rightly saying? The determination of whether or not an action is illegal lies within the bosom of the court. So you cannot use your press conference to say, assuming it even came from the contingency fund, somebody has heard. We cannot be doing that, and I thought that it was all right. And you know, the contingency vote is because we anticipate. If you take, for instance, the 2014 World Cup, when we were going, we use the contingency vote because at the time the budget is prepared, you know you are playing qualifying series. You don't know whether or not you qualify. So when you qualify, you must fall on certain money. The same thing we did when we were going to Qatar. Qatar, when the budget was prepared in 2021, the stars are not qualified for the World Cup. So once it happened, you have to rely on the contingency vote to do that.
Stay with you, Solomon. The contingency vote, is it for, is it miscellaneous or is for emergency?
Emergency. It's also for emergency. So unforeseen.
What's the real difference between the contingency vote and the contingency fund?
I think the frame is that financial engineers foresee that some of these things could happen. I mean, if you are going to, in cases of emergency, you don't have the luxury of time.
So now going back to the committee.
For instance, you know, there is wisdom in it. You went to the Bank of Ghana to release the money. You went there, somebody has garnished their account. What do you do then? Do you allow your people to wallow?
You would now have to go to court.
Absolutely. So it is, there is wisdom in there. But what I'm saying is that the press conference was needless. And you see, this attempt, one of the...
why do you think the press conference was needless? For a government who is very big on accountability, Operation Recover All and all of that, for a government who is big on that, so, if a person feels that there's a fund, we are talking about money,
yes,
right?
So between,
I want to know,
between inquiring about what the money will be used for and how the money was released,
if we do that, it won't be fair, because they are not in any way suggesting that you don't use the money.
So that was the point.
Because my role as a parliamentarian is to know. So
is a parliamentarian. So are they saying? So from where they are coming from?
Struggling.
Are they saying that? Are they saying that?
It's enough.
They are not happy the money has been released.
It's enough. You don't have to criticize everything.
What do you call it? The victims.
It's not. You see.
You understand?
Yeah.
It is just trying to be heard in this matter.
But that's the duty of minority.
No, but you must be heard in a positive light.
Who said?
Let me address something. You see, we must not discourage attorney generals that are open to the public. I disagree entirely with my brother Kofi Tonto. You see, they have succeeded in preventing Ayene, Dr. Ayene, from giving us that periodic press conference. And I told us,
but the deputy is
look,
if you give periodic to set people up for attacks,
side must never allow these people. We have been enjoying his updates.
What updates? What is enjoying about that? What is,
so when your attorney general briefs you about cases, you are not interested in that.
About what?
That your attorney general tells you that these are the cases. This is what we are doing about. You are not interested.
No, it's not it. It's not it.
They have not in any way succeeded.
He must resume those press conferences.
General from
because I was enjoying them.
You should understand that they were contextual.
Yes.
When before a case is presented in court, it was his strategy to let us know.
Very beautiful.
But if the case is in court,
he withdraws.
He is in a way restricted in terms of commentary that he can run.
Very good intervention. But you
still come out and talk. They talk all the time.
But what is your problem? The Attorney General is representing you and I, the government of Ghana.
Emefa.
You have an Attorney General that is briefing you on cases that we are dealing with, issues on his wall. Social media now is almost our daily activity.
Look,
where do you expect him to be channeling all those information?
Do you recall the things the Attorney General said about Adubuahin's case? And what the facts are now?
What are the facts?
It is imagine that.
Imagine from where?
Listen,
from those propaganda.
Of course, from the details coming out.
From where?
That's from the Attorney General.
No, the matter is still ongoing. The matter is still ongoing. I don't want to go there.
People are
from where? Who exaggerated what? Who exaggerated what?
Emefa.
You have never gone to court. You are saying that it's exaggerated.
Go on the wall of stream side and look at the commentary. They have set people up for attacks, for insult, for persecution. That is not a job of an attorney general. That's not a job.
You are not being fair to
I am telling Srem Sai.
You cannot. You will not gag. You are telling that Attorney General.
I'm telling him.
You want to stop it from giving information. What are you talking about?
People up for attacks.
Who is he setting up?
Go on his wall and see.
But I have been on his wall,
so
and there is
nothing. We don't digress.
Yes.
So that we don't digress.
Yes.
But you just scratched my curiosity. So far, what has Srem Sai said on his page? That was not true.
That is the point that so ask Kofi Tonto.
First of all,
ask him.
The legal team has come out. The
don't
legal
move from Srem Sai to legal team. You are now moving to
ask a specific question.
Let me answer.
Okay. Srem Sai said that he is going to abroad and try to access his account.
Yes.
The lawyers have come out to say that is not true.
But should we take the lawyer's case as
do you have evidence from Srem Sai?
Has he given you any evidence? Has he given you any evidence?
Has he given you any evidence?
What are you talking about?
What haven't they gone to court for?
But they have gone to court.
Going to court we'll go to Abdul.
But how can Kofi Tonto be allowed to do this?
Do what?
No, we'll go to
It's a pure lie.
When I started my submission,
you recall your question?
Yes. No, you asked a question.
I told you to think about it. I'll be back.
Yes. I'll try and respond to it. First of all, but let me quickly respond to my brother, Kofi. It is quite clear that in my earlier submission, they say that when dry bones are mentioned in the proverb, those who always stand accused of being responsible for them become jittery and uncomfortable. I still maintain my initial position that the NPP is a party boxed in a self-inflicted creation of confusion and incompetence. And when I also say so, it is an expression of my democratic right and opinion. And I just did not say so without proceeding to demonstrate why I felt so. I gave evidence. Emefa, you see, there's a difference between quest for accountability for national interest and quest for accountability or quest for partisan pursuit of your partisan interest disguised as a national responsibility. When you pretend or seek to deceive the good people of this country that what you are doing is nationalistic in character, and I know that it is partisan in nature, I'm also clothed with the democratic right to expose so.
Of course.
And that is what I did.
Let's start with one particular case study. For example, yesterday, how would you have the minority address that particular contingency fund, contingency vote, wherever this 350 million? How would you
I do not have a problem with the minority issuing a press conference or holding a press conference to ask questions. I don't have a problem with that. It is within their democratic right. They could have gone through the parliamentary rules, write to the Minister of Finance for more information, or choose a press conference. Government will respond, because this is not a government that runs away from accountability. So I don't have a problem with that. But the point I'm making is that a week ago, on the same platform, we were discussing press statements that emanated from the MPP about these floods.
Yes.
That was political in nature, riddled with lies and half-truths. And less than 24 hours after that statement, their flag bearer was also on the grounds, indicating that we should not play partisan politics with it. So when I bring the two together, and I link that to the press conference they conducted yesterday, I get the sense that even at the time that the government was before the processes in Parliament for approval, the MPP simply participated not because they felt strongly about the challenges the affected victims of the floods were enduring, but simply because it was a political opportunity to see what government will do. Let's approve and we know that they can access it. Let's approve and see what they will do. Then we'll tend to play political. Because if it was a responsible political party that had information about a Ghanaian order, even their members on the finance committee could have brought that up, could have raised those red flags. And as processes leading to that discussion, a decision could have been taken. They didn't. So, insensitivity rooted in their quest for partisanship, established. Secondly, Emefa, the contingency vote. You do not, if you are a proactive government, especially dealing with an emergency, you have been given permission to access contingency fund. You stepped out of the parliamentary corridors and realized that this permission I have been given to access contingency fund, I can't access it because of a Ghanaian order. Yeah. But the Minister of Finance also has a contingency vote that was approved last year as part of the 2026 budget. And there is enough money there that I can rely on, and it will not breach the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, to be able to service the mandate of securing 350 million Ghana cedis for flood mitigation. If you go into that contingency vote, how is that a breach of the laws of Ghana, for which reason the Attorney General should resign? How? I'm struggling to understand the logic there, Emefa. Because remember, to access the contingency vote,
for education,
the finance minister doesn't need to go back to Parliament for approval. And if you are a finance minister worth your salt, you don't simply say that, oh, you gave me permission to access contingency fund, and I cannot. So I'm coming back to you to now tell me how to look for money. When there's a contingency vote that I can use, that is what proactive financial engineering means. So where is the breach? So what occasioned that press conference? What were they seeking to achieve? And that is what I'm struggling to understand. And you see, Kofi, I know that you are uncomfortable.
How? How do you know this?
Oh, no, but he said about the descriptions and the labeling.
Okay.
Against his political party. I can understand your discomfort. But the truth also is that it is not enough for you to be organizing press conferences and churning out things that you cannot hold on to. As a responsible opposition party, you must raise the bar. And these are the demands we are making. Raise the bar. And it is not true that, look, this will not be open to auditing. It is not true. In their press conference, they called for special audit. Again, it is within their democratic right to call for same. But Emefa, in terms even of the disbursements, at the end of the day, our laws under Article 187 is quite clear. The Auditor General would have to audit the books and present a report to Parliament. If the MPP feels that they need a special request to carry out a special audit of the 350 million Ghana cedis, they know that the place to place that call is the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. They can make that request so that a special audit can be done. And knowing this administration, I'm not sure that they even wait for the MPP or any other Ghanaian to make that request. They themselves will give us the opportunity of a special audit in line with the desire of this government to lead a transparent regime. We are not like the NPP.
We will do a responsible opposition business by inquiring or requiring.
Absolutely, and that is what that is how it should be done.
Have your party now.
But Emefa,
what response?
If you do this,
let me land.
When you go and do press conference for educational purposes,
let me land briefly.
Press conference for educational purposes, why would you join?
Please do quickly.
Kofi, are you happy with what they have done?
Kofi, when it comes to the work of the Attorney General and his deputy, the NPP will not be allowed to dictate to this country how they carry out their constitutional mandate. I have always argued, and I continue to say, and I'm yet to engage any NPP person who is able to counter that point rooted in law in our constitution. He is not just the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana. He's also the Minister responsible for Justice, Emefa.
Sure, injustice.
And if you remember,
Minister of Injustice.
When arrests were being done
what are you talking about?
by institutions of state, they demanded explanation and reasons behind the arrest. The MPP issued an official statement and said that they needed to know. People should not just be picked up like that without briefing the state. And we indicated that those demands were legitimate, especially in line with his role as Minister for Justice. So if the minister responsible for justice takes your admonition seriously and proceeds to give briefings,
you don't mean it,
of institutions that are working, what the hell is wrong with that? Is it because it is through the social media platform?
Is hell wrong with it?
It is because
the way he goes about it.
Listen. What would have happened
the way he goes
if you had woken up to the news that Hanan was picked up at the airport without any official statement from either the AG or the
how will you feel?
How would you have felt about it?
Okay, if we get to the Hanan, but what wrong
did they do?
So
you see, you people are uncomfortable with these two gentlemen. They are pressing them where Ghanaians want them to press. So for the MPP, every opportunity that even is distant from the two men, they will bring it to their doorstep because they want them out.
Okay.
All their lobbying strategies around them are not working.
Kofi.
So the agenda now is to get them out. But
the point is, while I agree with the role of minorities,
to compromise them.
I totally agree with that. But what caught my attention, and I'm coming back, in fact, between yesterday and this morning, you must have heard the term contingency vote. It will sound like a vote where they keep money. It's actually an exercise it's a vote. So by the time the minister takes the budget, and it is debated, appropriation and all that, it is granted that there's a contingency vote by all of the members of parliament that when there's an emergency, we have given our vote that this money, this set amount, should be used for such emergency. I mean, of course, oversight requires that when you have used it, you come back to account.
Sure.
Of course, at all costs. That's why I'm wondering, say, that vote, Ayana is not a surprise. Once you're debating the budget, it's usually there. Yeah. So even if the finance minister went to the contingency fund, the committee would have to sit down. You will know. Parliament will know. Those who did the press conference yesterday will know. If they didn't use the contingency fund and they went to the vote, that one as well, they know that it is already existing. So I was quite surprised when Jerry says that, because he must have voted for that.
Yeah, so it tells you it's a serious matter.
Do you understand?
So you see the incompetence level.
You see, for me,
you see where my discussion of incompetence comes.
I will allow Jerry to answer.
I agree.
You are going to allow me.
I cannot speak for Jerry on this issue.
That's fair.
So that is for Jerry to answer. Are we to go on other issues?
No, let's say that because of what you were doing there with the press conference.
What did I do?
Are you happy with it?
Actually, you see, I am so excited.
But you didn't sound so.
To be fair to the minority.
Yes.
To be fair to the minority.
Yes.
The fact that that funding already exists and the finance minister has access to it, you still must go back to Parliament.
Yeah. Which one?
The contingency vote. You
have already voted for
I mean, for accountability by all.
It will be audited, but you don't need to go back.
No.
That's not.
You are not
but they
the
went
one
to finance committee. They didn't just take the money. They didn't just start disbursing 350. From the vote, they still went back to finance committee, which the minority still is part of.
You see, Emefa,
So I tell you that was for educational purposes.
But I needed.
It was Kofi's time.
Talking for 20 minutes.
It's Kofi.
20 minutes. Because the thing was pinching.
What was pinching?
Kofi.
What pinch?
Kofi. And Kasano, what?
You know, I am very happy with what the minority did.
Yes.
That is the job of the minority. Indeed, they are a mighty minority. And I see no fault with what they did. Because if the president said we are going to use a contingency fund, and they raise questions that there is a garnishee order, and then the minister then comes out and tells us, oh, we are not using the contingency fund, but rather we are using this. It is excellent. At least now Ghanaians are assured that we are not going to have any legal issues in the future.
Yeah.
That is the job of the minority. So I clap for them. So, Madam Patricia Piaget, why are dear, Juma? Look, these guys, these two gentlemen, whatever they say, they are doing politics. Hamza is sitting here talking about we are doing partisan. What are you doing? Are you not doing partisan politics? Do you care more about Ghana than the minority?
Yes.
You don't.
With clarity.
You don't.
Yes.
You don't.
I would have been.
So you don't. You don't.
I would have been a member of the party.
So you don't. So let's make it clear that they did the right thing.
Okay.
The laws allow them to do it,
this
and
topic,
it is the right thing for them.
Let's stay in Parliament.
No, but I think the minority must organize another press conference and apologize to the Attorney General. You can't call for the immediate...
Why would they?
He is admitting now that there is clarity in terms of the matter. So in the same way that they call for the immediate resignation of the Attorney General, I think it's only proper for them to go back, organize the same press, and tell them that we are sorry, Attorney General. Then we move on. It's as simple as that. Oh, you don't agree with me?
I don't know about that, but let's stay in Parliament and talk about Ghana passing the Community Service Bill 2026, of course, which establishes the National Community Service Secretariat and introduces community work as an alternative to prison for minor non-violent offences. Lawyer, what does this mean?
Oh, it means that for the first time in this country, we are going to get the opportunity to decongest our prisons. It also means that for the first time, we are going to get an opportunity to reduce the burden of taking care of our financial burden and implications as far as the public purse is concerned on in relation to our prisons. It also means that for the first time, we are going to take advantage of the court system in terms of judgments to develop our society through communal service and labor that we can effectively monitor. And for many of us, especially for practitioners, we think that this has been long overdue, but nonetheless, we thank God for the opportunity. Because any democratic dispensation that appreciates the rule of sentencing, especially its financial implications, tries to find ways around it to lessen the financial cost on government, whilst also creating an avenue for those who are likely to, or who are likely to face these sentencing regimes to also contribute meaningfully in terms of societal growth. I know it is heavily relied upon in the United States of America. I know it is heavily relied upon in the United Kingdom for certain minor offenses, for example. So instead of having somebody to sit in a prison for 3 to 5 years, it is always better, or even after sentencing, you convert that to communal service, where the person will still have the opportunity to be with the family and contribute meaningfully to society. For example, today we are having to deal with floods and sanitation issues. Maybe instead of the person going to prison for 3 years,
you'll be cleaning, sir.
Yes, it happens, 4 hours, maybe a day. And the person,
I think it's designed for 8 hours, right?
Yes, normally. Okay. So the person can, depending on the verdict that will be given and the sentencing requirements, the judge can decide that, look, every day, from Monday to Friday, you do 4 hours of communal labor. There are certain gutters that they will be seen cleaning. Then after cleaning for 4 hours, you go back to your normal routine. You can still get a job, because there is a need for us to appreciate that sometimes, especially for first-time offenders, the prison conditions actually do not prevent them from the future commission of crimes. It
hardens them.
It hardens them and actually emboldens them to commit crimes. Because there are so many of our people who are first-time offenders. Yeah. Then you lump them up with people who are hardened criminals. And when they are even out after 2 or 3 years, through no fault of theirs, they are still hooked to that system in the prison yard, either by threats or some fear of harm coming their way. So out there, they commit crimes for kingpins who are in prison, on behalf of kingpins who are in prison. So you do not help in terms of trying to limit the commission of crime in the country, but you're actually expanding the frontiers. So for me, when I heard it, I was quite excited, and it is progressive, but we must also be interested in the institutional framework, how to get that to work. Because this country, there's the tendency for us to abuse laws. The history is there.
Ordinarily, the prison service shouldn't be the one overseeing it.
I don't think that I have any problem with the prison service overseeing it. But there's the most important thing is that we need an institutional framework, either under the prison service or an autonomous body, or even private in nature.
I see the bill establishes a National Community Service Secretariat.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So that is commendable. So we know that this is an institutional framework for it. We know those to hold accountable. And through that, because this is a digital regime, in terms of not just, I'm not talking about the NDC government, worldwide. The IT is driving change. There's a need for us to take advantage of it and also consider how to even monitor these people and know where they are whereabouts at any point in time. And so it is not just the laws are good, the passage of the law commendable, but I think that so much work still needs to be done. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. So much work needs to be done. The institutional setup, how to monitor compliance, how to monitor compliance, these are key things that we have to pay attention to. But I think that
have some water. Let me go to just say per time now
you know, Emefa,
for you, this will not surprise you, especially because of your experience in
No, I'm actually excited. You know, yesterday the president said something that I agreed with. And today, hearing this, I also agree with it. The president said that those who play for us, you know, on the national team must at least know how to sing the national anthem. It may sound as simplistic, but there's a lot of truth in it, you know. So I just want to say that and then this issue or this story, at least these two excite me. And I think even though I'm in the opposition, it doesn't hurt to occasionally credit people when they do something right. And I think for the ministry to see through that the bill is passed is positive. Because as Hamza said, it's progressive. I have a firm belief that for any society to survive, we must respect humans from cradle to grave. At every stage of human life, we must give a great deal of recognition and respect to them. And that is why, for me, even at the cemetery, I want to make sure we have clean cemeteries. You know, how much more people are living, but through maybe some bad decisions here and there, you know, they committed offenses. And then they go to jail and find themselves in very, very bad conditions. Of course, there are those who have committed very heinous crimes and must equally face strong punishments. But generally, the law seeks to sort of create an environment for first offenders, and then those who commit petty crimes and other, you know, not like committing murder or, you know, that kind of thing. I think it's good. And that's why I always commend the Pentecost Church when they invest. Are you a Pentecostal? Oh, okay. I commend them when they invest in building prisons, etc. Because we must offer them dignity, you know, to understand that people who have committed petty crimes, we must.
You're bundled up with the other.
Yeah,
Definitely
exactly.
one will sharpen the other.
Exactly. and there is this word, it's very difficult to pronounce. Recidivism. It's when criminals become so hardened and so accustomed to the prison life that they go and they want to come back. They will commit an offense to come back. And like Hamza said, somebody will come in with just a petty crime, then they will go and learn the ways of the hardened criminals, and then that person actually prefers staying in the prisons. So they will go and commit another crime so that they will come back. But if we are able to separate and create alternative ways for them to pay back to the state, to society, I think it's excellent. But I want to move so much, I don't want us to focus so much on just cleaning gutters, etc. Some of these people are very smart. You know, some of them are excellent carpenters and other things. How do we...
After cleaning, we identify your other strength and...
Yeah, but we must.
So you must pay for the action first of all.
You must pay for what?
Let me see where you're going with the point.
No, the point that I'm making is that part of the community service should be them also using their creative and talent and skills to give back to society. Okay. So if it means, let's say, we need school chairs or something, they can equally make them as a way of community service. I'm saying that community service is not only weeding and cleaning gutters.
Absolutely.
We can expand it to other creative ways of giving back. No, not monetization.
Because no, I understand that. I'm just questioning that. If you are not, if you go on that tangent, there is the need for those with the deepest of pockets not to actually even feel the impact of that service.
Okay.
You get the point I'm making?
Maybe clarify a bit.
Because, for example, if it is about production, if I'm a carpenter, it's about production of chairs.
I think the crux of what he's saying is that we shouldn't limit it to, if we look carefully, there'll be other areas.
There'll be people with other talents that can...
No, I'm just giving an example that caution should... Exactly, because you see, the point is that, look, if I'm a carpenter and I have my shop, and maybe as part of my communal service, you say that I should use my skills to produce 100 chairs for school. The motivation for crime would be high. Because I'll still be working at my place.
No.
Whilst producing, so you are likely to monetize.
Not necessarily.
The
no. You don't go back to your shop and make the head. I'm saying that they can offer services to the state in other capacities. Not that they have to go to their own shops and produce the chairs. No. I'm saying that they can offer.
Solo, reading tells me that this has been a long time coming. It looks like the journey started in 2014.
Sure. I mean, Ghana, a tall figure in the African Committee of Nations, is been long overdue. Or if we look at the day that Zimbabwe even came out with the law as far back as 1994. If you go to Kenya, they started in 1998. Our own brothers, Nigeria, 2022. So it tells you that it's long overdue. It's a good thing. And I agree with my brothers when they throw in the caution words that in this country we have all the beautiful laws, beautiful policies, but the implementation. So I'm happy they are going to set up the secretariat. If a man of integrity will man that place and make sure that the right, I know sentencing is to correct, but many a times they are not corrected when they are sent to prison. They come having a different mentality. They even want to do more, commit more crime, and then go back and relax themselves. So I am for it. If somebody throws in rubbish on the street and the person has to end up in some, I mean, how fair is that? There has to be a way that we utilize their, their skill. A professor of economics goes to commit a petty crime or a misdemeanor. Why wouldn't you cause that professor to be writing papers, doing research entire year for the country free of charge?
You think it will come from a good place?
Of course.
This research will be based on...
but at the end of the day, that research will be vetted. If it is all right, you punish that professor more.
Okay.
You understand? I mean, what better way to get the professor putting his mind to work than to get him to research in his area of expertise? Agronomists misbehave. You send the person to our food, give the advice, and we move on. So it's a good thing. There is not much to say. I think there is the implementation that all of us should be taking a critical look at.
Okay. We seem to be on the same page. Let's talk about Hanan. I see he's been nagging at all of you since you came this morning. So as of this morning, we know that EOK had granted him 5 million bail condition. But we're also reading informally because yesterday when we spoke to his lawyer, Godfred, former Attorney General, he indicated that because Hanan is not too sure what's going on, so he would rather stay in custody. But reading informally suggests that he has been released unconditionally. I've not read it officially from his lawyers or from Iyoko or the Attorney General. But so far, I'll come to you, Kofi. Let me come to you. So far, from the beginning of Hanan's matter, which part of it are you not happy with? Which part of it is concerning to you?
Well, number one has been the issue we've always raised. First of all, let me put it on record that if anybody is deemed to have committed a crime, that person must go through the necessary processes as allowed by the law and the Constitution, so that if we have to punish the person, we do so. So I am not in any way, shape or form here to justify any crime, being it criminal offense, financial embezzlement or anything like that, except to say that we must do it in a manner that conforms with the law, that respects the human rights of that individual. Throughout, one of the issues we have raised with how issues have sort of gone or pan out is the bail conditions. The amount of money that people have to... I don't recall the exact amount, but I think Hanan's issue had to do about 60...
There was the earlier one, 60
million
then
or
the
so.
fresh one, 5
Exactly.
million.
So the person has gone through all the issues, and then the Attorney General drops the case against him, and then comes up with another case. He's going through the process. He's gone to the court and has petitioned to the court that he wants to travel to the UK on medical grounds. The court has granted it, only for him to be accosted at the airport that he's touched his frozen account. Then Hanan is placed on another bail, this time 5 million Ghana cedis. I mean, when you look at the processes, for me, it's not fair. You've already put the person on 60 million. They've gone through the issues. You've dropped your charges. You've gone for another case. And now you claim that he's touched his frozen accounts, and that is the reason why you stopped him from traveling. And on the basis of that, you've given him another bail condition of 5 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. That doesn't sound fair to me. How many times are you going to give one individual bail conditions? So for me, I feel that it is becoming very clear that, there's some degree of, we are going to show you where power lies. We are going to set you up as an example. The other concern that I'm also trying to wrap my mind around is the Deputy Attorney General says that the reason why he was stopped is because of him trying to touch the account. But then the Attorney General himself comes back and says that the basis upon which the court granted him the right to travel was that he presented information from a retail in the UK. I've not lived in the UK, so I don't know so much about it.
Pharmaceutical retail?
Yeah, called Boots. Yeah. And that, in his estimation, Boots is a beauty retailer. And that is not sufficient for him to have used for the court to grant him permission to travel. But the fact is that, again, from what I'm reading online, is that Boots is not just a beauty place. It has some pharmaceutical and health aspect to it. But the bottom line is that he presented evidence to the court. The court admitted the evidence, and on the basis of that, gave him permission to travel for a week. So how in one case the Deputy Attorney General is saying that, we stopped him because of him touching his account, and now the Attorney General is telling us that the information he presented came from a beauty place? So which is which? What is the real reason why Hanan was stopped? And that, for me, at least, leaves the impression that something unfair is being done. And in these cases, the perception alone is enough. The perception alone is enough. And I think the Attorney General and his deputy continue to give us the perception that they are going after people they don't like, people in a particular political party.
Okay.
And for me, that is very troubling. That's not how, corruption cases must be handled. You don't just put onerous bills on people, put them in a position that they can't do anything. In some cases, some people have 600 million bail conditions. 600 million. That's onerous.
My confusion with when people have a challenge with bail conditions will be that it suggests to me as though the person who is imposing the bail, we think that it is there's a certain level of discretion. But it sounds as if it is from the person's personal view. Isn't it based on the charges, the value of the charges that you're being charged against? One, also, that's why the law also provides that if you have a challenge with the bail condition, you can apply for variation of the bail.
Look.
Because we seem to cry over one particular thing and it hasn't changed. And we're not exploring the other options.
Which other options?
Where the bail condition is too much, according to the person who is being charged.
Yeah.
And yet you're not proceeding to the other route that is available to you to vary it. Because we've seen somebody's bail condition varied in court and has been reduced here in Ghana before.
Oh, but people, no, see, the point that I'm making to you is that I spoke about perception. Of course, people have procedural rights and the ways and means to go through other methods to sort of have their bails varied and all of that. Yeah. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that when the conditions become evidently clear that for certain people, they are always onerous, then there is an perception
of it
being created that what is it about these people? And I just gave you an example that Hanan had 60 million. And then by saying that he attempted...
But those were on the other charges.
On the other charges which were dropped.
Which were dropped.
Yes.
So this 5 million is new.
This 5 million is on the fact that he was arrested, he was traveling and then Yoko took him in and then they gave him a new bail of 5 million. And he insisted, at least from the reports that we are reading,
that
he doesn't want to...
I'll come to you. Let me go to you.
So I think it's not fair.
I know. I want to go to Solo. When we finish, you come for the legal class. The law class.
So we must understand that the Attorney General is supposed to represent all of us. He's the Minister for Justice, you understand. He's supposed to ensure justice. And so when he's working, he's supposed to be working in the interest of all of us. I don't know, honestly, the position of my brother Akufo-Addo on corruption. I don't know. Because sometimes it seems to me that if you're an Attorney General, and especially under this dispensation, if the Attorney General attempts to retrieve monies that are alleged to have been stolen back to the state, he has an issue. I don't know how that plays out. We are told that Hanan made an attempt of withdrawing his monies from his account. Now we have been told by the Attorney General that on the 14th of July 2025 and on the 28th of July 2025, there were 2 court orders freezing all his accounts. We are also told by the Attorney General that Hanan went to his bank and tried to use a defreezing order that was for different assets.
Landed property.
Landed properties. So if you are an Attorney General, first of all, the person told you that he was going to the United Kingdom to seek a medical attention. Here, his eyes. I have seen documents that Attorney General has filed. It's all over on social media. Nobody has denied that. Indeed, before he even made the attempt of seeking this medical attention outside, he had been to his opticians in this country who have said that these conditions are more or less incurable. You understand? And so if you are an Attorney General and you have this background with somebody facing criminal prosecution, don't forget there are 20 charges that have been filed against Hanan in terms of, and some of it relates our borders on stealing. Now, the person says he's going to the UK. The next moment you hear that he wants to go and withdraw all his money from an account, put 1 and 1 together. Would you say allow the person to go out? I mean, sometimes we must be fair to ourselves. You understand? I have listened to his lawyer. Of course, as a defense lawyer, you must defend your client. But as someone who is a Ghanaian, my lawyer is the Attorney General. If it turns out that the Attorney General is lying to us in terms of all the things that he has told us, that indeed Hanan made the attempt of going to withdraw his money, then I will have any reasonable justification to come and call for his head. But until then, nobody can fault the Attorney General. We must rather applaud him. We have had one too many. Said Tamaklu told us he was going to do what? Wasn't on a medical condition. We are dealing with one now, Ken Oforiatta. He told us that he was going to the U.S. to what? Seek medical attention. It has turned out that he's seeking American citizenship.
Both.
Well, the other one, I don't agree. The real purpose for traveling out was to, evade prosecution. You understand? So let us put the issues in right perspective. If you are a political party that do not support corruption, after all, what Hanan is alleged to have done, I'm not too sure you, Kofi Tonto, you benefited from it. And I'm not too sure. I always tell people that the United Party's constitution, I've checked from page 1 to the last page, there is nowhere that says that in the event you become the government, the ruling party of the day, and the president sees you fit or deems it fit to give you a ministerial position, and you decide to go and use that position to go and steal, and tomorrow the Attorney General is pursuing you, you have Solomon also come early in the morning, dressed in this fugu that was dashed to me by Yusuf Mohammed of NPA, anyway, good morning in Tamale, then I will be doing myself and my family the greatest deal of disservice. So don't put yourself in that condition. If we are discussing issues of bail, that it is onerous. As a country, you must take a decision on that. But I agree with you that there are also other processes. You can even go to the Human Rights Court and challenge bail conditions. Many a time, the lawyers that are supposed to do that for their clients, you will see them rather arguing on radio. Lawyers do not argue their clients' cases on radio and television.
But Attorney Generals can.
Attorney General has he argued. He only passes information and goes to court and defend us. You understand? So if there is anything untoward that has happened to Hanan, he has his law. His lawyer is the former Attorney General. Is that not the case? His lawyer knows the law. In fact, they call him the law. That means the law. So he must do the law thing by going to court and then get freedom for his client.
But he's doing that.
Is that what? What is it? But the way you said it, as though
the client chose to be in custody because
is he still in custody?
Well, we need to. If I have Kingsley, if you can just check for me again, because we know that informally we're hearing that it's been.
We were told by who that he prefers.
No, in fact, yesterday, when we spoke to the Attorney General, that question was put to him.
Yes.
But the 5 million, he's been granted bail.
Yes.
Why is he still in custody?
Yes.
Then he says that because Hanan is not too sure the gimmicks between Iyoko and the Attorney General. So he would rather, he's tired, I should use the word rightly. He's tired of the back and forth. So he would rather...
He's tired, so he wants to, so now it's his own decision to rest behind bars. That's not the case. Okay, so let's put it that way.
Okay.
That he wants to rest there. That's fine.
Okay. So first of all, before you go to the matters of rights, as a lawyer, are you able to tell whether your client has done something or not, even when you have not had access to the client? Absolutely. I asked this because yesterday, on Tuesday, Hobson-Addo made an interesting, he argued an interesting point. He said that the Attorney General says that his client had been picked up from the airport. He hasn't been given access, and that Hanan has not attempted to take money from an account that has been frozen, and that if it is true, the Attorney General should prove. And so I just thought that maybe as lawyers, there are ways which you are able to still have the information without having to have access to your client.
I think I made that point on Monday on another sister station. And I indicated that I was quite worried about the posture of the Honorable Dame. In any case, I should say Dame because as a matter of fact, I don't think that he deserves that title honor because of how he has conducted himself, first as Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, and now even as a law practitioner. The issue of ethics, for me, has always been disregarded as far as his practice is concerned. And I made that point on a sister station on Monday when he denied vehemently on behalf of his client, even though he proceeded to tell us that he was denied access to the client. And so the question I asked was to the effect that, as a lawyer, as a practitioner, you have not spoken with your client.
Don't have information.
Yet you are on a national platform categorically stating that your client had not committed A, B, C, and D. What if your client walks out and tells you that indeed I did A, B, and C, and D? How do you then advise as a lawyer? Our job is not to deny on behalf of our clients even before we speak with them. We are supposed to listen to their concerns, solicit certain answers from them, and proceed to advise at the back of those answers we get. And so, but we are talking about Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
When it comes to ethics, this is a gentleman who frowns upon ethics, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't want to discuss him and his ethics.
Emefa, on the issue of Hanan,
yes,
it has always been difficult commenting on that matter because, first of all, he's a brother, but I know he understands that when it comes to the issues of corruption and the fight against corruption, blood bonds must not even stand on the way of issues of accountability, regardless of how we feel, especially if we want this country to develop.
Yeah.
And so in the spirit of that, I proceed to present my view of the situation. One, my brother made mention about the issue of bails. Unfortunately, Kofi, this is not a creation of the National Democratic Congress or this government. These are discussions we can have when it comes to our laws as a country. You can be given bail on several other alleged crimes. So if you are picked up, granted bail for 60 million, and you have been alleged whilst you are out, you have committed another crime, when you are picked, and they demand bail conditions for that one, it is the law that backs it. Are these onerous? Yes, they can be onerous. Can something be done about it? Yes, as a republic, we must do something about it. I agree with you. It did not start now, and I can assure you that it's not going to end now, unless we all come together and have that discussion as to how to proceed, especially when it comes to issues of this nature. Because, trust me, it can be quite burdensome for accused persons, especially when no law has found them guilty when it comes to bail conditionalities. So it is a discussion we can have. But the determination of bail conditionalities are outside the remit of the government. These are decisions that are taken by the law courts. And so maybe the time has come for us to even engage the judges to understand the rationale behind certain bail conditionalities. Mind you, the judges will not also just proceed and give conditionalities without looking at the quantum involved in terms of allegations of crime or corruption.
Okay. I have a question, but when you finish. No, a genuine question.
Yes.
When you finish.
So these are discussions we can have as a people.
Okay, but now, also proceed quickly because it will inform the submission. Okay. For the charges that were dropped by the Attorney General for Yoko to start a new charge, the frozen accounts in question, is it under the previous charges that the Attorney General dropped, or this current frozen account that the Deputy Attorney General is talking about is under the new charges by Yoko?
I don't have that information.
What is the question?
The question is, there's a frozen account in question.
Yes.
There's an argument, a legal argument, especially even by Akufo-Addo, that if you have discontinued the previous charges,
yes, elapsed with it,
then the frozen accounts, the freezing of it.
That is a wrong interpretation of the law.
It's a wrong.
No, let me make my point. That was a wrong interpretation of the law.
You can proceed with your point.
And I will explain to you. When it comes to the freezing of accounts, it is mostly done at the instance of the FIC.
FIC or
Yoko. Yeah. And under the law, FIC has a 7-day window to actually freeze your account without any court order. But to go beyond that 7-day, they need a court order. So if you are under investigation and they have come to the conclusion that there's a need for them to freeze your account, and they rely on Yoko or FIC to freeze that account, the Attorney General can subsequently go to court to get a court order to go beyond the 7-day window.
Wait, they did.
Okay.
So if they do that, these processes I'm talking about can all be done even before you are presented to the law courts for prosecution.
Okay.
So that is independent. If you have a problem with it, you can also initiate an independent court process challenging the prison of the account.
But you understand why I asked that question, right?
I do. You understand? So this was what happened in the case of Hanan, even before he was taken to court. So if he is subsequently taken to court, my understanding is that the High Court decided to more or less lift the ban on his landed properties.
Not the accounts.
Not the accounts. That is what the Attorney General is asserting. We are not seized with the facts or the evidence of such a claim. The most important thing is that when they go to court, his lawyers would have an opportunity to contest the position of the Attorney General, and a determination can be made. So as we speak, the Attorney General is asserting that indeed his accounts still remain frozen. Only landed properties were accepted. Were exempted in terms of the grant by the High Court.
Hamza, we are not answering this question. Was it the case that he indeed attempted to withdraw those two stamps?
I'm getting there. She asked the question that I was seeking to answer.
Yes.
Now the point that needs to be made is that Hanan presented an application to the High Court for permission to travel. Regardless of how we feel, whether he would come back, he wouldn't come back, I am sure that the judge in question looked at all the sides of the arguments that were advanced by Hanan's counsel and that of the Attorney General, and proceeded in the wisdom of the court to grant permission to him to travel. Emefa, this is where it becomes interesting. And it's a huge lacuna in terms of how we interpret our laws. Let's say that after the grant of the permission, Hanan comes out and is engaged in activities that the state realizes that these new activities that this gentleman is engaged in, even after the grant of permission to travel, are steps being taken to make it impossible for us to get out, for him to come back to the country. What do? Will the state stay that because the court has granted him permission, even these new steps after the grant of leave are such that if we don't act timely, Hanan will travel out of the country and fail to return? And these are not information we had at the time that...
Was the grant of leave dependent on the landed property that he had been cleared of? Or these are two separate issues?
These are two separate issues. I'm just telling you now, the Attorney General is telling us that they decided to take him because he had attempted fraudulently to access an account that was frozen.
Okay.
His lawyers are saying no, there was no such attempt.
That's fine.
The lawyers, the AG is saying that what he presented from Boots did not justify the grant of the leave if the court understood the basis of that appointment.
And they were in court.
I'm coming. Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. Listen, please. I'm saying that for all you know, at the time those things were done, the AG did not have that information. That's why the AG did not contest the decision when it came out. Okay. For weeks, they didn't contest it.
Okay.
So, but if new evidence comes to their table, that is suggestive of the fact that these new steps being taken by the accused person are such that if care is not taken, he may not return to the jurisdiction.
Especially when we have...
Do you now sit down and say because a court has already granted permission to him to travel, I'll let him travel? Or you would have to take new steps to bring that to the attention of the judge while preventing him from traveling. And if you are preventing him from traveling, is that a violation of the court order? These are critical questions we need to ask.
That's interesting.
And these are legitimate.
So I have some.
I know, let me please, I'll get to your question. So, and that is why we need to be very careful.
This round, we'll have second round.
Yes, this is why we...
One round.
This is why we have...
Unfortunately.
But he wants to ask a question.
You are damaging my chain of thought. Please, I'll.
So how long do you want to talk?
Please. Because
You've spoken for so long.
Oh, don't do. You see, when you are speaking,
you are hiding behind your legal title to take all the time.
I am actually helping.
Let's learn a few things.
You see,
Hamza, please, our time.
Yes.
Giving you the few.
No, but now, Emefa. So these are the legal questions. Does the decision of the Attorney General to prevent him from travel, even though, because they have new information, even though an order of the court was granting him permission to travel, does that constitute violation of his rights? A legitimate question to ask. Legitimate. I will not sit in this chair and pretend that that is not a genuine question for him and his lawyers to ask the state. But that determination will be done by the court, whether indeed they violated his right or not. Secondly, do I feel that the state is also justified in taking precautionary measures to say, hold on a bit, let's see whether these new steps that you have taken would bring clarity to the judge in preventing you from travel? Will the judge entertain that? Another possibility that the judge may entertain that. But that leaves a serious lacuna in our law. And there's a need for us to have discussions around it. I pity Hanan, and I feel so sorry for him. Whatever it is that he's going on is not simply because he is Hanan Aludiba. I believe strongly that the state has become quite apprehensive, like Solo indicated, because of the history of people running away from justice, the likes of Ken Ofori-Atta.
The likes of Sedinam Kamaklo.
And so these are the issues.
The likes of Sedinam Kamaklo.
Let me put this information.
Ofori-Atta has not absconded. He has not absconded. Now I have a question.
Have you landed?
No.
You made a comment that is the court that give the bail conditions. But I think, if my memory serves me right, there have been instances where Yoko has given bail conditions, no? And this.
No. Even the police are seized with the power to give bail conditions.
So I'm saying that it's not only the court.
So it's a matter that
no, the way you said it, it created the impression that only the court.
So it's not only the court. Not only the court.
Because the Yoko guy, Raymond Acha, is sitting there and giving onerous bills.
Solomon.
Why are you
it's
saying
deliberate.
Raymond?
Yeah, but that's what he's doing.
Today you are attacking Srems.
I haven't attacked him. I'm just saying what he did.
Why do you have any problem?
But that's what he's doing.
Major girl.
Oh, you're free.
Upgrade your print game with Konica Minolta, proudly powered by SkySat Technologies. From all-in-one machines that print, scan, and copy to professional systems and heavy-duty production machines, we deliver unmatched performance. Right now, SkySat has an unbeatable offer. 1 entire year of free servicing on all Konica Minolta machines. That's 12 months of expert maintenance for new and existing customers. Visit our new VIP print center at Pegasus Place, Airport Residential Area for a live demonstration. Call us on 050-164-5180 or 0302-798-829. Again, it's 050-164-5180 or 0302-798-829. SkySat Technologies. Performance that delivers every time.
Welcome to Sulas Enterprise, the shop that deals in industrial machinery such as generators, rice millers, water pumps, compressors, and mowers. From the smallest to the largest capacity, at Sulas Enterprise, we give you nothing but the best from the best brands such as Honda and Perkins. When it comes to our generators, we also sell mowers coming from brands like Honda, Briggs and Straton, and Oleoma. And when it comes to our water pumps, we offer you brands like Lily, Produce, pudding, and Pedrolo water pumps. We also sell rice millers for all capacities. We are located at Spintex Kakalika Plaza. Also, find our various locations as displayed on screen, or call us on the following numbers: 0243-839-463 or 0554-154-416 or 0240-541-493.
Sulas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number 1, let's bring Baby Car. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
Missed passes? Bad referee decisions? Don't let your child's grade suffer a bad match. Ensure a straight win this academic season with curriculum-aligned textbooks and interactive tools from Pegasus Publishing. From preschool to senior high school, we have the exact game plan your kids need to ace their classes. And because it's World Cup season, you get a massive 20% off every single book. Don't drop points. Call 059-50-10175 or dash to Pegasus Publishing in Accra, Newtown, right opposite the Total Energy Station. Free delivery within Accra when you call. Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Palladium Residences in Achimota isn't just an address, it's the home you truly earned. Secure your place with just a 10% deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant, curated community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym, and an on-site hotel, all at ABC Junction, minutes from Achimota Mall. Enjoy city energy while retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now to reserve your unit and benefit from limited launch incentives, including priority unit selection, executive pricing, and flexible payment options available. Don't miss the chance to pick the best homes. Book your private site visit today. Call 050-9823-424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
This July, Ghana will host global downstream energy leaders, innovators, and experts at the Ghana International Petroleum Conference, GIPCON 2026, to collaborate, exchange insights, and develop strategies and groundbreaking innovations through strategic dialogues. The event, held under the auspices of the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Honorable Dr. John Abdullahi Junapo, is on the theme, Building a Resilient Downstream, Policy, Innovation, and Investment for Growth. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, is our distinguished guest of honor. Speakers for the event are Mr. Godwin Kojo Tamaglo, Esquire, Chief Executive of NPA, Dr. Patrick Ofori, Chief Executive of Seaboard, Dr. Riverson Opon, Chief Executive of Comac, alongside other key captains of industry. Join us from the 16th to the 17th of July 2026 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day at the Palms Convention Center, La Palm Royal Beach, Accra. We can't wait to host you.
Upgrade your print game with Konica Minolta, proudly powered by SkySat Technologies. From all-in-one machines that print, scan, and copy to professional systems and heavy-duty production machines, we deliver unmatched performance. Right now, SkySat has an unbeatable offer. 1 entire year of free servicing on all Konica Minolta machines. That's 12 months of expert maintenance for new and existing customers. Visit our new VIP Print Center at Pegasus Place, Airport Residential Area for a live demonstration. Call us on 050-164-5180 or 0302-798-829. Again, it's 050-164-5180 or 0302-798-829. SkySat Technologies. Performance that delivers every time.
Not corruption. Vote buying silences the will of the people. Unchecked illicit political financing weakens the very sovereignty of a state. Democracy falters when everyone's choice is compromised. An unprecedented multimedia politician-citizen forum brought to you by Joy News Impact Makers Foundation. This community-level engagement will spotlight illicit political financing, explore its implications, and proffer solutions to safeguarding Ghana's democracy. Democracy is not for sale on Joy News, Adom TV, Joy FM, Adom FM, and across our social media platforms.
I didn't think it would happen to me, but it happened to me.
Ghana's digital economy is booming. Millions of transactions, billions of cities, a future powered by technology. But beneath the convenience lies a growing threat.
coming more towards digital fraud.
If we place convenience excessively over security, we run the risk of breaking down the number one currency that we have in that ecosystem, and that is trust.
The Digital Economy Forum is a thought leadership series examining the opportunities, risks, and choices shaping Ghana's economic future. In our maiden edition, we tackle a critical issue, the trust crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy.
We need to have a 360-degree solution.
Join Head of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana, Elhanan Orekuasare, Economics Professor Godfred Bokpin, CEO of Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewua, Executive Chairman of E-Crime Bureau, Dr. Albert Enchibuesiako, Chief Risk and Compliance Officer at Mobile Money FinTech Limited, Godwin Tamaklu, Deputy Director General in charge of Technical Operations at the Cybersecurity Authority, Stephen Kojo Seshi, and Head of Internal Affairs at Haptel, Ebenezer Before. The Digital Economy Forum, the Trust Crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy. Brought to you in partnership with Haptel. It's happening on Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. live on Joy News, Joy FM, and across our social media platforms.
All right, welcome back to the AM show. Let's talk about the environment, right? For some time now, we have been grappling with the issue of environmental degradation. We're fighting illegal mining, we're fighting illegal logging, and illegal mining, for example, is really dealing with Ghana's environment. But how do we go about it? There are some people who say they are devoted to helping solve this issue. And luckily for us, we have two of them in studio for us to engage them on what they are doing to help the country fight galamsey. Agnes Ayarega Atanga is Executive Director, the Academic Success Foundation. Agnes, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're well.
I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Yeah. We also have Wilson Ogoke. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Analyst, Nigeria Data Hub of Ecosolve. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you.
Babana, I hope you are well.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Did you say I hope you're well in Nigeria? I only like broken English. Ogafana.
Just exactly the way we would say
it. Okay. Agnes, I think I would want to, now let me start with Wilson rather. Yes. Wilson, many Ghanaians have heard about illegal mining and illegal logging. But these days I get to hear it is called environmental crime. Okay, so what is it? We know in galamsey people go there, but what is environmental crime actually?
Well, environmental crime is something very important. It's a very important concept, and that's because there are laws that are supposed to keep our environment safe from harm. So environmental crime really technically is criminal laws, administrative laws, or environmental laws that are supposed to protect the environment from harm and degradation. But there is a wider understanding, a broader understanding, which goes beyond legality, which focuses on harm, the idea of harm to the environment and to the human being. And that is on the understanding that harm to the environment can constrain the enjoyment of many of the human rights that we have. So the right to life, for instance, it would mean nothing if you don't have clean air, clean water. And so the broader idea of environmental harm includes even some things that are legal. This is really important. So once you're harming the environment, even if the law authorizes you to, you're actually committing an environmental crime in this broader sense that you're constraining the enjoyment of human rights for other people. So that is really what I would say environmental crime is. And just to take it a notch higher, in this broader understanding, sometimes even states, governments can be complicit in environmental crime. It's just that they have the power to justify it with laws, but that doesn't mean that it is not a crime. It's still a crime because it's, constraining the enjoyment of rights. So I would encourage viewers to understand environmental crime as actually attacks on human rights. It's not just littering or you're making the environment not look beautiful. You're actually limiting people's enjoyment of their rights.
Which means those people doing that are criminals.
They are criminals. Yes. Even if they are governments, even if they are states, they are criminals. Because the thing about environmental crime is that the impact is not seen immediately. And there is also a sense in which they are the true universal crimes because, if you pollute a river here, you don't know where the consequence will shoot up. It may not be now, it may be in 10 years' time, right? You don't know where that consequence will come up. So you even harm future generations. So they are the truest form of crimes. Unfortunately, because the damage is not impact, you don't see blood immediately. Unfortunately, they are not so high on the priority, of crimes to be addressed.
Okay. Because just when you were speaking, I sort of zoomed into the way our seas are taking the devastation from the rivers. And then there are some of us who say we don't eat meat, we eat only fish. You don't know what the fish is consuming, and they will come back to you, not today, but tomorrow. But again, so on that basis, why should I, as an ordinary Ghanaian, care about the environment, actually? Especially the guy who is pillaging the soil for gold. Doesn't he care? He doesn't. Why should he care?
Thank you, Kojo. So yes, we really do have to care because we've gotten to a point where our environment has been so degraded, polluted, being caused damage to the point that, like Wilson was saying, you don't know where the effects will come from, and we all will suffer it one way or the other. Example is the recent flooding that we just experienced. Perhaps I wasn't the one that threw my rubbish or polluted the water. However, the effects also affected some of my family members. And so it's something we all need to put our hands together or join forces to begin to fight it. And so this is one of the reasons why EcoScan AI project is being implemented. And I'm proud to say that we are doing this as Academic Success Foundation in partnership with GITOC and also the European Union to basically bridge the gap between data deficits for law enforcers to be able to enforce these environmental crime laws. The laws are there, but it's challenging for them to really enforce it because it's happening in the communities. The galamseys, the water polluters, the illegal logging people, it's happening in our communities, and we need communities to really take action and report these crimes. How do you report this crime? That is why the EcoScan AI system is there. It's an intelligence platform, environmental crime intelligence platform that uses AI, satellites, and geographic locations to analyze reports that comes from community members and share the insights with law enforcers to be able to take informed decisions.
And if I've seen something I want to report, how do I do it with EcoScan AI?
So we have a WhatsApp chatbot we have developed, and then tomorrow, God willing, we'll be launching that, the EcoScan AI platform. And so for now, we have two main sources where you can report through the WhatsApp chatbot and also through our online reporting system. And so once you scan the QR code, you are able to chat with the chatbot, and then it will take you through basically how you can report. Either you want to report a crime or you want to learn more about environmental crime, because we know it, but perhaps we've not really been paying attention to it. So the bot is also an opportunity for people to learn. It serves as a learning platform for those who want to learn more about environmental crime, its effects, and how they can also be part of supporting to protect the environment.
Okay, so it's a call on all of us to fight. But Wilson, I know GTalk, as she mentioned earlier, partnered with EcoScan AI to do this. Why is this partnership that important?
Well, it's really important because, as I've said, the environmental harm is something that can be quite devastating. But criminals, are taking note of the low priority, since environmental crimes are sort of a low law enforcement priority. And they are cashing in, so it's really of increasing interest and, to organized crime groups. So across West Africa, you have organized crime groups who are now delving into environmental crime and profiting heavily from it. And that is why there is need for now greater collaboration between governments, regional governments, international governments, but also between government and private sector. And that is why we are happy to partner and work with an organization like Academic Success Foundation to roll out this important tool.
So your expectation is, at the end of the day, what are you expecting?
Yeah, I mean, the expectation at the end of the day is that the citizens will be able to take charge. Because remember, as I've said, when you look at the broader concept of environmental harm, there are powerful actors who profit from these things. Some of them are states, some of them are governments. But citizens are the ones who will always be affected, and they are the ones who should speak up. Even when the law allows something, the citizens should speak up if there is harm. So this sort of thing is to create awareness, first of all, drive up the issue of the prioritization of environmental crime in society. So that is some of the things that we are hoping to get out of this.
Okay. Yeah. And Agnes, you are launching it this week, right? You said tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow at ISA, conference facility at the University of Ghana, campus, Legon, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow. We are going to launch the platform, and it will bring together key stakeholders who would benefit from this platform, which includes the Ghana Police, the Environmental Protection Agency representatives from Euroko, civil society organizations, stakeholders from academia as well. So we are bringing all these key stakeholders together tomorrow to share with them the EcoScan platform and unveil it, as well as also seek their feedback in terms of the potential of the system.
And also, what message do you want viewers to take away from this?
The core message I would like them to take away is I would like for people to stop looking at environmental crime like littering, like pollution. It's a human rights issue. It's something that touches on our ability to exist, because the crime can actually disrupt the natural ecosystems from which we get clean air, clean water, and our food. So it concerns everybody. It's not just the responsibility of the government or of the civil society organizations. Environmental issues, environmental crime concerns everyone. That's the message.
Okay, all right. I'm grateful to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Agnes Ayariga-Tanga is Executive Director, the Academic Success Foundation. Wilson Ogoke is Analyst with Nigeria Data Hub of EcoSolve. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Do stay.
I didn't think it would happen to me, but it happened to me.
Ghana's digital economy is booming. Millions of transactions, billions of cities, a future powered by technology. But beneath the convenience lies a growing threat.
Now it's becoming more towards digital fraud.
If we place convenience excessively over security, we run the risk of breaking down the number one currency that we have in that ecosystem, and that is trust.
The Digital Economy Forum is a thought leadership series examining the opportunities, risks, and choices shaping Ghana's economic future. In our maiden edition, we tackle a critical issue, the trust crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy.
We need to have a 360-degree solution.
Join Head of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana, Elhanan Oreku-Asare, Economics Professor Godfred Bokpin, CEO of Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewua, Executive Chairman of E-Crime Bureau, Dr. Albert Enchibuesiako, Chief Risk and Compliance Officer at Mobile Money FinTech Limited, Godwin Tamaklu, Deputy Director General in charge of Technical Operations at the Cybersecurity Authority, Stephen Kojo Seshi, and Head of Internal Affairs at Haptel, Haptel, Ebenezer before the Digital Economy Forum, the Trust Crisis, Why Fraud is Holding Back Ghana's Digital Economy, brought to you in partnership with Haptel. It's happening on Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. live on Joy News, Joy FM, and across our social media platforms.
Democracy is by choice, not cash, not coercion, not corruption. Vote buying silences the will of the people. Unchecked illicit political financing weakens the very sovereignty of a state. Democracy falters when everyone's choice is compromised. An unprecedented multimedia politician-citizen forum brought to you by Joy News Impact Makers Foundation. This community-level engagement will spotlight illicit political financing, explore its implications, and proffer solutions to safeguarding Ghana's democracy. Democracy is not for sale on Joy News, Adom TV, Joy FM, Adom FM, and across our social media platforms.
And what's a better way to end the show than talk about prayer and how prayer helps all of us? Look, wherever we've gotten to, I believe that prayer was why I'm here, or is the reason I am here today. So let's talk about Standing the Gap 2026. What is it? And what should you expect? I've been joined in studio by Pastor Andrew Anane, Pastor Empowerment Worship Center. Pastor, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
All good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then we have Eunice. Eunice is Dogbefu.
Yes, that's correct.
It's Dogbefu, yeah?
Dogbefu, yes.
Okay, all right. Eunice, good morning to you as well.
Good morning.
Pastor, I would want to start with you because this is my first time, and I need to be honest. This is my first time I'm hearing about Standing the Gap.
Okay.
So what is it actually?
Okay, so Standing the Gap was birthed from a place of prayer that God spoke to our global lead pastor, Pastor Gideon Danso, as a call to people and for people to answer to the call of prayer, to raise intercessors all over the world, for people to build up their prayer life, because we know and we understand that men ought to always pray and not faint. So from that on, since 2016, each and every year it's been 48 hours of non-stop prayer until 2026, that the time has been increased to 72 hours of non-stop prayer.
I see that this year your theme is Revive Thy Works.
Yeah.
What does the theme mean and why is it relevant?
Okay, so the scripture is Habakkuk chapter 3 verse 2. It says that revive thy works according to the years. And in a time where we live in like this and the season that we find ourselves in, we believe that it's only God that can revive his works. And we are the workmanship of God. And just like when you buy a phone and the phone is giving you issues and all of that, the best person you take the phone to is where you bought the phone. And so if we are the workmanship of God and some things in our life, in our career, is not really going as the way that we want it to go, so we are calling on God that God himself will revive the works that is in our life, in our career, in our marriage, in our businesses, that he will revive it. And also the 72 hours is also within 72 hours, that makes 3 days that Jesus arose within 3 days. And so within that 3 days, there will be a revival, there will be a restoration, that whatever that has been dead in our lives, in our families, in our businesses, there will be a resurrection, dead things will come back to life. So that is why the theme for Revive Thy Works, and we are trusting God that there will be a revival in this nation and across the globe as well.
72 hours is 3 days.
Yeah.
Continuous 3 days.
Prayer. Yeah,
why 72 hours?
So 72 hours because the Bible says that ask and keep on asking, knock and keep on knocking. And James 5:17 says that the effectual prayer of the righteous it availeth much. So there are certain prayers that we can pray touch and go, which will be like 2 minutes, and we just ask God and go. But depending on what we are trusting God for the next half of the year, that is why it is important that we spend that much time. That is why it's important that we spend that much time in the place of prayer, because the more that we spend in the place of prayer, petitioning God, asking for God for certain things, that time will produce, as the Bible says, that it makes tremendous power available. It will produce tremendous testimonies, tremendous miracles, signs, and wonders. And in the Bible, there's a parable, what Jesus spoke about, which was a widow who was expecting judgment from one judge. And the Bible says that he will go to the judge oftentimes, and the judge will not really respond to her. But the judge said to himself that even though he doesn't fear God or he doesn't fear man, but because the woman and the widow kept on coming to him, because he kept on pestering him, so he had no choice than to rule in her favor. So in the same way that in that 72 hours, as we seek the face of God, as we call on him within that 72 hours, that whatever it is within that 72 hours, God will surely answer. Not to boast that we can pray the most for 72 hours, but we are calling on God that as we spend that much time in his presence, that he will turn things around in our lives. Yeah.
Well, let me bring you in now. How different is Stand in the Gap different from other revival meetings?
I would say it's different because, as you mentioned, as Christians, we always need to pray. Prayer, depending, no matter which denomination or wherever you find yourself as Christians, you always need to pray. And prayer is something that has to be part of our daily work. So just as Pastor Andrew mentioned, it's a call for everyone to come together to pray. And just as the theme for this, revive thy works, and from Habakkuk, everything that is dead in your life will come back to life. So, other Christian or other meetings or prayer meetings or Christian programs, yes, they all have different themes. It could be about worship. It could be about seeking God more. It could be about knowing God more, the Bible more. But this is a call for prayer, for you to, pray dead things back to life, for you to, for God to manifest himself in your life, for the glory of the Lord to be revealed and to be revealed in your life. So yes, that's what makes it different, that all Christians are coming back together. Because I won't say it's just for one, it's just for Empowerment Worship Center, but it's for everyone who calls themselves a Christian. Even if you're not a Christian, prayer is something that everyone needs in their life to grow. It's a spiritual journey. So this makes it different, that no matter where you find yourself, whichever other Christian programs you've been to, this is different. This is us calling that, okay, as a nation, let's come together, let's pray. Everything that you think that, okay, whether it's my marriage, whether it's my finances, whether it's my job, my career, just come here, just pray, trust God, and you definitely have an encounter with God.
Okay, so what should people expect when they attend?
Oh, definitely. As we mentioned, it's a prayer meeting. So prayer, the word, music.
So are we going to stand on our feet 3 days to pray? No break?
Oh, yeah. So, yes. As he mentioned, 72 hours non-stop prayer. But I know there's one thing that people keep asking, that, okay, so if I come on the 72 hours on the first, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be standing, I don't have to go, and once it starts, I can't come. No. As much as possible, that it's 72 hours, and it starts at 6 p.m. tonight and goes all the way to Sunday. At any point in time, because yes, I know it's a working day, people have work, but you can join at 6 p.m. You can even come at dawn. Even if you think, on Friday, I want to use that as my morning devotion, you can come. You can leave, freshen up, come back. So it's open throughout. There'll always be prayer, praise, worship, ministration from the different speakers and men and women of God that will be leading. So all I'll just say is that come with an expectant heart, come with an open heart, ready to receive and encounter God.
Okay. Pastor, when we have events like that, we have testimonies coming up.
Yeah.
Can you share with us some of the powerful testimonies that you've had in this?
So I remember last 2 years Stand in the Gap, which was 2024, one of the people who came for Stand in the Gap. So she had applied for a job, they were recruiting people, and the number of people that applied for the job across the world was 1,001. And they only picked 10 people. And by the grace of God, she specifically mentioned that she wrote that job, the application, the name of the firm and all of that, and she brought it to Stand in a Gap. And after just 1 month exactly, after that Stand in a Gap, she was one of the 10 people that got employed, that got a contract by the grace of God. Now she's in the UK, that through that job, she also has a fully funded scholarship to even further her master's. And these are some of the testimonies that by the grace of God, we keep getting year in, year out. Last 2025, someone came to pray, trusting God for the fruit of the womb. And by God's grace, exactly, she came to pray on 2024, Stand in a Gap. 2025, Stand in a Gap. Exactly that time, she had given birth just 3 weeks into the 2025 Stand in a Gap. So there's countless testimonies that because of our time, so I might not be able to share all of it, but we want to encourage you that if you're out there, you've lost hope, you don't know what the next half of this year is for you, there's an opportunity that God is bringing your way for you to just come and encounter him, for you to come and commit and entrust the rest of the year into his hand. And surely there will be a testimony for you. You will meet God. There's one thing that I want to also make emphasis on is that anytime that you are coming to God, just have huge expectations, because he says that those that come to him must know that he is. You must know that he is. So at Stand in a Gap, we get to know God. We get to know God through prayer. And whenever we get to know God through prayer, he also speaks. And definitely there will be a miracle, there will be a sign. So you have family, those who are trusting God for breakthrough, testimony, healing. This is for them. Yeah.
Eunice, our time is up, but I didn't hear you talk about where it is. Empowerment Worship Center, where is it?
It's at Jolu. So Empowerment, if you're using the Google Maps, Empowerment Worship Center Prayer Factory, it's located at Jolu, just right after the traffic light.
Okay.
Yes, close to the Allied filling station.
That's where it is.
Yes.
That's where we'll be meeting.
Yes, at 6 p.m. tonight.
Okay. And I see that there's is it the man from Nigeria?
Yes, Pastor Nathaniel Bassi.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Yes, Pastor Nathaniel Bassi will be there.
When is he coming?
He usually does Fridays.
Yes.
Fridays. He usually does.
Morning?
12 a.m.
12 a.m. midnight. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there to experience him.
Yes.
That'll be great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Can't wait to see.
Okay. Pastor Andrew Anna is pastor of the Empowerment Worship Center. Eunice Dogbevu is Discovery Team member, Empowerment Worship Center. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you too for watching our show today. We have a lot more to share with you, God willing. Tomorrow, you know what? After us, we have Focus on the World Cup for you. Even though mine has ended, but I'm not sure yours has ended. So do enjoy it.
Welcome to Stand in the Gap. 48 hours of non-stop prayer. 2025. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Where are the waiters? 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 As we tarry for 48 hours, your God will move. Your God will show up. Your God will move. How many of you are trusting God to move? In